get back to the pits if they want to, or simply just once you got it started, keep going. For JJ's song, and they've got strong leads. So the nearest with car is 447 laps. So it's 24 laps between them. So that's nearly an hour. It's not far off an hour. Yeah. So they've got time in hand. They don't need to panic. As dramatic as it may be, but it does give an opportunity for others. At the front of the field, the IRC GT, which is run fairly well, in second in GTX, Jake Camilleri.
I don't think they've actually had a problem with that car, have they?
No, not that I've seen. Jake Camilleri comes from a family of very prolific Mazda dealers.
Yeah.
That's why the Mark cars made a Mazda version.
That's right.
The Camilleri family wanted to have a Mazda over, because you're starting with a space
wasn't
frame.
it?
Yes, you're starting with a space frame, and you can basically put whatever body panels you wish over the top of it. A bit like a British touring car, actually.
Their fastest lap is a 2:04.2 in the race, against the 2 minutes for the Lamborghini. I think that car, that's the pace of that car, and it's running with the GM Crate motor, as this 18th code 60 has generated some more pit stops, and immediately the Almanar Racing by Team WRT BMW, Nick Damon, is in the pit lane again for Ben Tuck.
Yeah, and this time straight to fuel, so they're going to have an even fuller tank and slightly worn tyres. We also have 9 laps on those tyres, but he's now got an absolutely topped up tank again, so they almost certainly may come in and do another stop to change tyres within his stint. We've already had Harry King through. He was on the first car. He must be right on pit entry as the code 6 report. He's come in, also just picked up some fuel, nothing else. We're about to get Kennedy. No, sorry, it wasn't King. It was this is Harry King coming now. Sorry, it was the third place car. The Dynamic GT car that came in first straight away with the gas back. And now Harry King came. And King's getting out of the car. So they're doing a full service at this point with tyres. King gets out of the car, throws away his seat insert, helps the joining driver to load up. We also have had the other BMW, the red AM car, that's come through as well. That was fuel only. So these coachings are kind of spaced not particularly conveniently. We also saw full work being done on the Red Camel Jordan as well. But I think Rick stayed on board, but they did give him a new set of boots. He was incredibly impatient. He was following down behind another 992. He was almost pushing him along. Because I think he felt his 60 kilometres or 40 kilometres wasn't the 40 kilometres that Rick had. And in the end, the car veered off and he kind of went past with a kind of a wave of the nose. Hey, what on earth are you doing? He's in the fuel at the moment. And now some of the many myriad, of course, of 992s come through. Part of racing as well. And then the car that's officially scored in 6th place, that's the Winwood machine. That goes past as well. And I think that's probably our lot for a while of the cars towards the front. I think we've had the whole of the top
Rick Breukers is in attack mode, and the lap he put in, I mean, in a Porsche Cup car at 201.2, that's hugely quick. I mean, that is, a second and a half off a really quick GT3 time. Not a surprise, Rick, a double winner of the 24 Hours of Daytona in the GTD class in a Lamborghini.
It also says a lot about the inherent pace of the 992 Cup car. They're not running on the tyres specifically for that class of cars. I suggest if they were, they'd be going even quicker, actually. When we first, in fact, the first Carrera Cup championship to get the 992 Cup cars outside of the Super Cup was Porsche Carrera Cup North America in its first year, 3 years ago now? 4 years ago now. And at the test day at Sebring, they were under 2 seconds from a GT3 car. And that was the team still getting used to them. This is a very, very quick car indeed. I think that the engine is running again on the Lamborghini, because that full stop is not tight, and I don't think he's just coasting. Nick Damon will be able to tell us if there is the sound of a V10 ticking over gently. Okay.
As we go back to green again, they're having a little bit of work to get the stop off. Now, theoretically, once they get the stop off, it should be a very sensible patch of 25-30 guys pushed down to the start. So there's no sign of any panic at all. They've managed to get things on the track by borrowing a bit of air. It's been dropped off the top most convenient place. You've got that garage too early, but not too bad. But yeah, the problem is it gets the stop off. Cars now going back on again, but it's going to give them a new set of boots. Car about to drop down off that massive boost. The pickup driver picks up his pickup on his way around. They actually do. What I would say, actually, I don't know, it's hard to tell whether that car has got a tick in the door, John, because whether that's caused a better, no, there has been ticks in the door. Relatively hard at some point. They are taking drivers, and they are now going for a replacement for the driver. I think that's for the, they are putting pressure on all round. They have to slightly use it, but there's a brand new boots as well. No desire to look at the engine, no desire to do anything else apart from do a full service. We know it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely right. Like I said when I was down the pillar, if you're wondering why they haven't attended to this restart issue, they've run out of white tank tape as well, so fabulously a bit of bright red race tape going on that gap, or that joint between the left front wing and the front panel, and there's actually quite a lot in there. I'd be worried about that as well at the pace we're going round here. There's some pre-cut larger pieces as well. It's like a large elastoplast, for those of you who remember those, large white elastoplast that's going on. And that, it must be said that this is not damage from the upper JJ. No. It's been on its own, but a lazy spin. Has been involved in one or two incidents. It was involved in a disagreement with the number 40 come to us and Mark. Yes, it was. Which I suspect that's where the damage came from. The thing is, they've got time in hand. They've got quite a lot of time in hand. They've got, as we said, nearly an hour back to the nearest competitor, the IRCGT. So they can afford to take their time. Not all day, but they can definitely be on the safe side. Tamillive. Why wouldn't you fit a new front air dam onto that, given that? I understand why you don't want to get into the engine bay and change. The starting issue is down to the fact that the starter itself, on the engine, on the knurled part of the flywheel, that's not engaging and not starting, and it's right at the front of the engine. This is a mid-engine car. It's right at the front of the engine, pretty much up against the firewall between the engine and the cockpit. And therefore, to get to it, remember, this is not an endurance car. It's the Lamborghini One Make Challenge car, and it's meant to do 50-ish minutes, 55 minutes. Sometimes with a pit stop, sometimes not. We run them with a pit stop in the IMSA version of the championship. And changing a starter would be something that would be done back in the paddock area, relatively leisurely between races or overnight or before you went to the next event. It's not meant to be a service item during a race, so I understand why they're not doing that. But they're putting more and more tape on that problem of the separated left front wing and the air dam, and clearly it's not holding. What you worry about there is one or other of those bits comes off and either the bonnet flies up and causes causes you an issue, or the air dam drops off and gets under the front wheels and causes you a problem. They've got an hour. Why would you strip at least strip all that tape off, put it in the garage, take off the air dam and see if you can fix it. If you can't, alright, put some tape back on and send it back out again. Even maybe pop rivet something like. If that was Colin White, that would have been pop riveted by now. He would have made some metal straps out the back and that would have been pop riveted together by now.
Well, we'll see how it plays out for them. For Lifer, the car now with Packies on board is in fuel at the moment, having taken over from JJ Song.
Well done for spotting that was Taggart before even the time was.
He's got the kind of John Cleland style, very, very narrow visored helmet. The S&P racing car, number 7, Mercedes, makes a move for position on the 991 Paragon competition. BMW, Alexander Smoljar was past Darren Lung, that's for 4th position.
Yeah.
The S&P racing car has been a kind of sleeper, really.
Yes, it has.
It's been going along, I wouldn't say minding its own business, it's been in one or two little scuffles, but that's to be understood when you've got 60 cars on track and 24 hours of racing. But any slip up at all in the top 3, and S&P are going to climb the overall podium.
Yeah. They are 3 laps away from the lead. That leading GTX, by the way, now 21 laps for Lightfoot Motorsport as Takis rejoins ahead of second place Jake Camilleri in the 111 IRC tube frame car, which Ian McCarthy has spotted has also got a left-hand end plate, rear wing end plate missing. Seems to be a bit of a trend this morning. Fabulous Phil Anderson.
Fabulous Phil Anderson. I understood that he was known as Fast Phil.
In his racing days, yes, he was.
Yeah, because he's just delivered a beautiful coffee from the Cars Cafe, which has got Porsche 356 on the takeaway cup.
Yeah.
And the skyline of Dubai and the Dubai Autodrome. That is full factory.
Yeah.
The Cars Cafe, thank you, Phil.
The guys at the Cars Cafe on site here at Dubai Autodrome. If you're here listening to us now, worthwhile popping down there. They're serving breakfast at the moment and they have a great selection of sandwiches and other breakfast requisites. However, if you're around Dubai, if you're listening now and you're in the pit lane area, you're around Dubai for a day or so before you head down to Abu Dhabi for the next week games, go and see the guys. It is motorsports and motoring themed cafe. They've always got something interesting on the walls. They've always got something interesting on the TV. They'll be playing this race in there at the moment. So hello to all of the team in Cars Cafe. The first time I walked into there, and this is no word of a lie, they didn't know I was walking in. I had never been there before. I met Phil there. We were going to meet the owners, actually. And I walked in, and there was an IMSA WeatherTech race from an IMSA race from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, playing on the big screens with me and Jeremy Shaw on the commentary.
That's amazing.
And that was really quite off-putting.
I don't even get that at the cafe and not kill.
We did a really well run test on the cafe.
Yes, right.
Hang on.
Cars Cafe.
How do you have it? Is it with milk or is it just black?
I don't know. However, Phil ordered it, but we're going to taste it.
Okay, hang on. Right, let's see. Peter pulls a face as if somebody has just been rubbing his back for about 20 minutes.
Last time I pulled that face is when I first opened up the throttle on that Bentayga I borrowed a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's that good. Right. Why? It's coffee. It's Phil's secret. It's secret. It's a very, very lovely cup of coffee, and that's just what I needed from the Cars Cafe. Excellent. But there we go. Is that a first on-air taste coffee tip?
Well, some years ago, the much missed Thomas Enger walked all the way over to us here when we were in the middle of a night shift. I have no idea where he rustled the coffees up from. It was before the time that Cars Cafe was here, actually. That's how long ago it was. And he came up with 8 big cups of coffee, all all of the milk, the sugar, and everything else to go in. I think he even had some flavoured syrups as well. And he walked up, and we said, "Oh, have you come up to come on air?" He said, "No, I've come up to bring you some coffee. Just bring you some coffee." And that was Thomas Enger. Absolute ledge. He was a special driver. He was not backwards and coming forwards, was Thomas. Very good rally driver as well. Yeah. I've done the Barham rally a couple of times. A good friend of mine, Seb Scott, who works for the Hyundai World Rally team, he started off his motorsport career with Reiter Engineering, and Thomas Enger drove for them. Yeah. Did quite a few races in this championship. Obviously got all the way up to International Formula 3000, American Le Mans Series for Rapinelli originally. They were good for coffee. Commendatore, Signor Rapinelli. The first thing that was ever set up was the coffee machine. It had a best finish at Le Mans of first in the Ferrari 550 of Velox Pro Drive. And in this championship, I don't have it in there, but he came to race in this championship. Now we know that Nick Damon is a fan of a car that's very, very powerful, very, very fast, but can also carry a lot of equipment. And Thomas Enger liked a similar thing, Nick.
Last time I've been around the Nürburgring, we had an RS6, which I then got accused of breathing the brakes on, but it wasn't mine. I didn't do it. Various laps, we all did. Anyway, we were going around the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife, as tutored by Mr. J. Hindhoff in Squire, and we thought we were pushing on a bit in our 550 horsepower RS6.
That was, remember?
I didn't see Thomas Enger comes flying past us in a Volkswagen Caddy, diesel, with the window open, waiting at us. So at that point you kind of go, oh, fair enough then. He's absolutely top, lovely bloke. Recently I saw his name for the first time in a long time. He's running a sim racing team. So I saw it, he was one of the team events we did. So that's I haven't seen him at a track recently, but I'm sure he still does certainly in his homeland.
He competed in the Barham Rally last year in a Skoda R5 car. He can be fast in anything. Had a big accident in 2009 in a Czech Republic rally. He was driving an Evo Lancer 9. And it's only the second stage of the rally. He's hammering along, and a dinger jumped out in front of him, and he nailed the dinger. He knew where to go, he said. And he said it wasn't very nice, in typically understated Thomas Enger style. He said, you don't meet very many animals on the circuit, but in the rally it is actually quite a big risk. I'm often painted as the bad boy of his era, and focused, yes. Competitive, absolutely. But an absolute heart of gold, Thomas Enger. And as I say, that coffee run that he did for us, for no reason other than he'd heard us talking about, we haven't quite got enough people to make a coffee run at the moment, and came all the way over from... And I still actually don't know where he managed to persuade someone to make him... It was two carriers, those 4 square carriers, Peter, that you get with the two of those filled with hot coffee, some black, some frothy white, and with sugar and stirrers and everything to go with. And he didn't even didn't talk to us on the radio. He just wanted to come and say hello. He stood for about 25-30 minutes looking out the window and watching the timing screens, and I think eventually we persuaded him to put a headset on, but that's not why he came up. Much missed. Ben took still late. Last lap, 2:01.7. Thomas Brining for Pure Racing in second at 1:57. 1:58.524 last time around, so that gap is coming down again. As you would expect, Ben Tuck is not going to be going at the pace of Thomas Brining, and neither does he need to. And this is the key. I've said this about a variety of classes in our season review that includes any Pro-Am classes, you're not necessarily in these longer races in a Pro-Am based class. You're not necessarily racing the guy who's in front or behind you. If you're the Am and they've got a Pro or a semi-Pro driver in Peter, you're actually racing the guy who might be getting in 2 hours' time, because those laps are the ones you've got to be competitive with. Yeah, I understand your point, but for Ben Tuck, he's got big ambitions. He might well be thinking he'll be wanting to be on the pace with Thomas Brennan. He might be a wee bit behind that at the moment, but it's like you say, he doesn't have to go absolutely full blast because they've got a 2-minute lead. That's Peter Mackay. You'll hear from Nick Damon down in the pit lane. We are inside the last 3 hours of the race. I'm John Hindhoff in the RSM Global Broadcast Centre, live and free across the world on the Carracing Motorsport channel on YouTube. If you're moving around this Sunday or your bandwidth challenged and you want to keep in touch with the race, then you can get the audio via RS1 and the player at radiolemans.com. It is the 2025 opener for the 24-hour series Middle Eastern Trophy, the Michelin 24 Hours of Dubai.
The triple one, aren't we? Because it's the one race, that's how they do it in America. In Australia, so it's late, and that's the RCT. They're carrying for a unruffled by the running for 21 hours until 2.5 hours. It did have a big slurp of fluid, though. It has pressurised bottles, so obviously taking some nice bit of oil into the machine. One try going well with Jake Cavaneri got out, but he scuffled out the back. And the reason I think he probably scuffled out the back, despite being on Australia, is the temperatures really come up quite dramatically in the hour or so, which hour and a half now being in the pit lane. So the sun has come across, it's now up above the grandstand, and the heat is picking up. Now this, yesterday, played into the hands of the BMW, so that could be further good news for the 777, but we've seen things happening we don't expect. So yeah, so it's getting warmer out here.
Aren't you complaining, are you?
No, I'm not complaining at all. I'm sitting here thinking, right, I need to be in the sun because I'm going, but it's not so bad. We don't know about those days, do you? You think it's going to be nice, but occasionally it's absolutely freezing, isn't it? We've had a couple of freezing ones recently. So this is a guaranteed sun, and Daytona is hopeful sun in a fortnight's time. But I have got a week back in where did my night shift, start the night shift, which you very kindly did for me, John. I posted a picture to my wife, and I said, it's gone down to 14 degrees here. I've had to put a jumper on. It's -4. What's your point? At that point, I went, fine, yeah, all right, love. There we are, but so it is absolutely glorious weather. And people, I think it was a while ago, people were saying, should I come out to this race? And the answer is yes, stay for a week.
Yeah, a bit of blue light and sunshine. Nick Damon, man in a jumper. You see? Yeah, very good. The snazzy new Preventing Motorsport jumpers with Martin Oren. Superb. Yeah, superb. Do feel as though we should have the McLaren to go with that, don't you? It's the sort of McLaren black and orange, which is the Spiker. Oh, the Spiker. Possibly the best use, not in a car with 4 rings, of an Audi 4.2 litre V8 ever. The deck one orange and black as well. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. It is very orange for Carracing. Obviously very proud of their heritage from the Netherlands, and as well they should be. Actually, I haven't got to see, because of how busy we've all been this week, I haven't got to see the team as much and chat with the team as much as I would like. We've got a quick word with Gary Phillips to wish him a happy new year. Bumped into Helen Reichers as well, just to say happy new year and give her a hug. But to all of the team, Nika, David, Peter Fry, and everyone else who have been working very, very hard for this 20th running. They make life very, very easy for us to turn up and do our job in terms of credentials and meal tickets, and also to the technical team of sponsored by our broadcast TV partners, who again, we turned up, the booth was rigged, we plugged in our computers. Mohammed, who for many years has done the technicals here, made sure that we had the internet that we needed. Made life very, very easy for everyone here this weekend. And what I'll tell you now, I would say this to their face, or I'm going to say this on the air. The preventing team are not afraid of hard work. They did a lot of preparation to make sure that everything had run well when we got here. But anything that they need to do during the race, they turn their hand to. Whether it is quote unquote their job or not. If a pair of hands is needed somewhere by one of the teams, by one of the suppliers, whatever, they will be there with bells on to make sure that everything works. And there's been a bit of that overnight. I'm aware of what's been going on, but nobody else is, because that's how good they are. They have made sure that nothing has intervened to affect the competition and the running of the race. And if that means turning your hand to something that you weren't expecting to do, then it's all hands on deck, and that doesn't matter whether it's the upper management. It's not my job. Oh no, I'm only here to do the sign on. Oh no, I'm only here to put up sign. No, none of that. You need a pair of hands to do X, Y, Z. Yeah, do I need to bring a set of step ladders? What do I need to do? Yeah, done. So thank you very much for another great year in this 20th anniversary running of the Michelin 24H in Dubai. Kicking off the 2025 season. Next weekend, more live coverage for you. The sprint race, 6 hours is the sprint. As far as preventing is concerned, normally the shorter races are 12 hours. Then we head off to Italy for Fabrizio Brogi's wedding anniversary celebration at Mugello. All the details on 24hseries.com. And of course, you can follow along with live timing, the tracker, and all the statistical analysis on livetiming.getraceresults.com. And you get all of the information that we have in the booth. Another beautiful morning. Welcome to Sunday. 2 hours and 52 minutes and 12, 11, 10 seconds to go. The gap at the front of the field is under 2 minutes. No, sorry, check that. The last lap of Thomas Bryony is under 2 minutes.
Significantly so, 150.
Yeah.
The previous lap, he'd actually lost 9/10 of a second just in sector 1 on Bentuck. So it just shows you how the traffic can make an impact if you get stuck in the wrong place. But Thomas Bryony set that right. Pure Racing are throwing everything at this. Harry King was at full maximum push and put in the fastest lap of the race. Full stop 157.547 in his previous stint. Bryning's in the car now, pushing as hard as he possibly can. They're going to try and put Almanar Racing by Team WRT under pressure. Yes, it's a 2-minute gap with 2 hours and 51 minutes to go. That's definitely a big ask, but they are going to do everything they can. All they can do is put the pressure on and wait for an error. In fact, they're right behind the race leader on track, so that's exactly a lap. So this is interesting. So for Thomas Bryning, what he can do here now for Bentuck is to try to intimidate and to try to demoralise your opponent. This is serious stuff. This is really, really tough now. As Bryning opens the door and they actually come to you, Aston Martin, number 40, decides, oh, I could go through, and then goes, oh, actually, no, these leaders not making me. But these Limo, that's the racer's instinct kicking in there. As Bryning trying to find his way through traffic, cutting through, going through the last corner. On a clear run, on that last corner, the top GTC cars are braking after the 50-metre board.
Incredible, isn't it?
And apexing that corner at 95 kilometres an hour.
And in fact, the lead is about to change in terms of the first and second place cars. And now, down at turn 1, Thomas Bryning is 5.3 kilometres behind the leader. He has unlapped himself on pace from Bentuck. And so the first car going through the S's now is the second place machine. And so on the road, that was a pass, not for position, but it more significant because it does mean now that Thomas Bryning is on the very back of the lead lap. Now, this is not as significant as it would be if there was as if there were safety cars in play, because they would obviously come round and back in. But it does talk to the pace of that Porsche.
It does, and it's demoralising for the opponent. The thing to bear in mind, though, for fans of the Almanar Racing by Team WRT-Car, is that they're on 10-lap older tyres. And as we've seen all race long, really, the new Michelin tyre, it's got a very good performance early on and then goes to a plateau and then stays there. And Ben Tuck is definitely down on that plateau at the moment with his tyres. Bryning's enjoying that sweet spot right now. Thomas Bryning set the fastest lap of anybody in the pre-qualifying sessions on the oldest tyre too. And he's been potentially the fastest driver out there this weekend, certainly with the overall package with the car underneath him. So he's pushing as hard as he can to try and bring this race back to him.
The 102 Asbest Racing Cooper has been in the pits for 56 minutes exactly. Henrik Sandell brought that car in. This is one of two touring cars that Asbest are running. Their one-on-one car, which has also had its problems, that's leading the race at the moment. Nick Damon, we've seen between us all in the pit lane too, spent quite a while down at the Asbest Racing. What is the ailment of the 102 car?
Well, the interesting is the space that this 102 car is taking up with a white Seat Cupra, that has been occupied by a car, I would say, for at least 14 hours, if not more, of the race. Asbest have been working their little socks off trying to keep these two cars going. This is the car which had the gearbox problem. Now, what they've got now is replaced the gearbox. The problem they have now is a drive shaft failure on the front left. Now, they're replacing the drive shaft problem. They're replacing the drive shaft, and just getting that off now.
On that side drive shaft, I know that this wouldn't make it. That is the gearbox side. The engine is transversely mounted, and basically the left-hand side is the back of the engine and where the gearbox is. So that is the gearbox side. They didn't drop the engine when they did the gearbox. They just dropped the gearbox and took the whole front end of the car up to do that. And the gearbox was cast aside in the middle of the night.
The UJ component is discounted actually rather than the actual drive time. They've got a UJ issue, and they're going to replace that. But every indication, given the fact the driver is suited and booted, they're going to get this car out before the end of the race and run it down. I can't really hope they get this car out in about half an hour. These poor mechanics can sit down for 2 hours. But at the moment, of course, they are occupying the top two steps of the podium in TC anyway. So it's successful that way, but it's certainly
the SRS Team Motorsports car, which started at the back after a blown engine in that car, an engine replacement, did fight its way past them and up to the lead, but that car's been in the pits for over 11 hours now, and it was still in a state of undress when I was in the pit lane. Now that's a 127, still in 57th position now, but there's a lot of cars that have been in the pits quite a long time. If I go from the highest position, Aero Motorsport, Ferrari, Dwight Berryman had a spin and hit the wall. That was 50 minutes since that car's been in the pits. 3 hours ago, the Continental Racing Audi, Andre Solukovec, 3 hours and 11 minutes that car. 2 hours and 30 for the Vortex, which they were looking at a gearbox issue, and I would suggest that, having looked at it, they've decided that there's not much they can do with it. Nick might be able to say it differently. 2 cars over 5 hours in the pit lane, the Hopper Racing Mercedes AMG number 11, and the Louis Perrault driven at the time 7 Racing car 508 503. Hopper come back to the hotel, Nick tells me. 7 hours in the pit lane for Freddie Tomlinson's Jeanette. Is that 7 hours since that car caught fire? Goodness me. 5 hours and a quarter for the other CMR team, Jeanette. That's the 795, so the 495 and 795 in the pits. 13 hours since the WS Racing BMW. Emily de Haas was on fire and brought back. Team partner racing Bentley with that random gear shift. That was nearly 16 hours ago now. And the motorsport car, remember, had that diff problem earlier on. That's 19 hours ago now. And even the Rossa, which teased us with the Graf Racing team working, and Roman Rushnov hoping that they could do something with the V10 engine. That's 6.5 hours that car has been in the pit lane. And everyone else is either running or... Yeah, everyone else is running. So those issues, as I say, that have been falling the bottom sort of 10 or 11 on the timing screen. But we've still got over 50 cars, or around 50. No, I think we've got over 50 cars running, actually.
Really impressive, actually.
Yeah.
This is a fast circuit, and it's warm here during the day. You're putting a lot of stress through those cars, but I think that's a great job by all the mechanics that have prepared these cars. Now, one slight fly in the ointment, gravity-wise, that we might need to consider with 2 hours and 43 minutes remaining, is the leading Almanar racing team by Team WRT BMW, driven at the moment by Ben Carracing. A gap of 1 minute and 53 seconds between them at the last timing point. But the respective fuel on board each of those cars could play a factor. Because say, for example, we stay green between now and the end of the race, 2 hours 43. It's possible if, for example, if the 777 car needed an extra stop over the 92 and everything else was equal, that 92 could win the race on that alone. Oh, absolutely. So that is, I mean, will we find out? If anyone's going to find out, Nick David will find out, but I don't think that David will tell us.
And by the way, there's only a minute and 13 between Preining in second and the second of the Porsches, the Dynamic GT car, the white and blue car, the number 24, in third. And so that car is not out of the running, and in order of where we expect them to come, well, not actually, I won't say that because the 777 has been topping up, so that car has been topping up when it can. But 25 laps on the tyres for Ben Tuck. His stint is just over an hour at the moment. Thomas Preining has 16 laps on his Michelin tyres. He's been in the car 33 minutes. Remember, he's only do 2 hours. 19 laps on Klaus Bachler's Michelin, and he's been in the car 42 minutes. Now, interestingly, at pit stops I don't normally take that much notice of because it doesn't necessarily indicate problems. It's just when you get in and if you're taking extra fuel. But the top three are spookily similar. 31 for the leader, 30 pit stops per second, 32 for third, 32 for fourth, 28 for fifth and sixth, 27 for seventh. So you see there's cars there that have done significantly fewer pit stops. Because normally you would look and say, oh, somebody's done, oh my goodness, they've done 31 pit stops. They must be out of it. Now we're going to go full course caution here as the number 30 car collection Porsche has been in the wall at turn 6. You don't have a small accident down there. That's passed through the S's. Roman Mavlanov, 21st in the race. Or 21st in the class, rather. 30th in the race. On 495 laps, and he's gone off driver's left, but he's done it backwards and hit that blue banded tyre. He's not in the firing line as such, but we will have to have a code 60. It's right rear damage on that. Nick Damon does his stretching exercises just like all of the drivers do, and is ready for the undoubted carnage that will ensue where everybody decides to come into the pit lane. Where is the leader, and will they take Ben out of that car?
13.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's going to be one of the first cars to have the opportunity to come into the pits as we go code 60 now. And that red and white car has taken a fairly decent swipe, Peter Mackay, to the right rear. Got him backwards at turn 6.
Fast through there. I mean, in a GT3 car, the apex speed 120 kilometers an hour, and the wall is relatively close there compared to the rest of the. Mapview just complaining with a little bit of stiffness in the neck. That's understandable because that's a fast accident, and he's gone in backwards, and the whole rear of that GT3R is very badly damaged. And Roman's a really experienced driver. He's actually been on the podium in Euro NASCAR of all things. He's been down the wall through that accident. He's won races in Super Trofeo, Spanish GT, and won the International GT Open Championship. So he's an experienced driver. As Pure Racing come into the pits with
First and second in the pit lane, Nick Dermott.
Well, Pure Racing got there first. They came in after SMP, currently scored fourth. Pure Racing and SMP have both kept the same driver on board and taken a fresh set of those new Michelin tyres. And they'll go and get their 25% lump of fuel. Here comes our leader. He's just swooping down in front of me, Ben Tuck. Let's see if they're going to do change drivers again, and I think yes they are. So they've stopped the different one. They're not changing it. Ben is staying on board. He's getting four tyres behind the 991, the red Am car. That is being a full service with change. Hartley's getting aboard that one, I think, by looking at the size of the driver. The two BMWs both at the moment getting a full service, but no change of driver for the 27 car. That's already away. That is now crawling in to get some fuel. So the top three of the top spots, we just wait for
That's fine, though. He's not quite round in the pit lane. Just something to start to think about now for us and for Phil, Johnny and Joe. We do have some outstanding penalties at the front of the field, significantly for the Pure Racing car for their third offence at turn 9. That was assessed at 10 minutes past 10 local time this morning. It's only 4 seconds, but that, at the end of the day, might make a difference about whether they can stay on the lead lap or not. They have got 2 hours to do that. They do not have to make a specific pit stop to do that.
Yes, they do.
So
they do, because they have to pit under green to serve the penalty.
yes, but then they can go and take service.
They could, yeah, then that might be a pit stop that they don't want to take. If we're littered with code 60s, that's not where they want to be.
So what happens to the Porsche in the accident? Came up against a slower car and got the typical lift-off oversteer that you used to see of Porsche there. A little bit offline for the number 30 Roman Mavlanov car collection. Coming up against a gaggle of cars, as Peter rightly said, it was a number of cars. I think Toyota Supra, I think that he was coming up behind Pete, is it?
Yeah.
And he got up on the curb as well at turn 5. And that didn't help his cause, I'm afraid, and he's all the way down the wall.
You cannot blame the GT4 car is going at it's on the racing.
Absolutely.
You've got to anticipate that. But this is what happens in the 24-hour race. 21 and a half hours in, everyone's exhausted,
Tired minds.
Tired minds, and it can, I don't know how long Roman had been in the car at that stage. Looking at the stint time, 33 minutes, but after this long race.
I just want to go back to the penalty for the 92 Thomas Bryning car, the white and black and yellow car. My point is that unlike other form of motor racing, you do not have to come in specifically to do the 4-second penalty. It can be added onto a green flag pit stop when you do it in the penalty box. Now, with Thomas, he's only 37 minutes into the stint, so he's got an hour and 20 to get a green flag pit stop in and serve that penalty.
If you look at the rate and the average rate of when we've had code 60s and how long for, the likelihood is that there's several code 60s, so he's going to be definitely penalised. Well, not definitely. There's a good chance.
Possibly.
Pitting under green would be a big penalty, because if we keep getting littered with code 60s, you almost never have to stop under green in the next 2 hours and 35 minutes.
You've got 2 hours. He's got 2 hours to do that from 10 past 10, which was 15 minutes ago. His drive time will run out before that, so he's got to be out of the car at some stage. He's the last act. If he can do it under green, may well be to come to the pit box before he gets out.
Well, and that's the thing, but I do think if the current pattern of code 60 continues, everyone else could be able to do all their pit stops on code 60, and that will disadvantage pure racing. So you're right, it might be 4-second penalty, you think, well, who cares? Not at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. The car collection machine on the back of the recovery vehicle being covered by an incident vehicle as it comes back off the track and heads back towards the pit lane. They'll deliver that car to car collection. They'll take every cutout that they can to stay as far away from the racing surface as they can. Hello to you, wherever you are. Let us know where you're watching or listening, whether you're here at the track or further afield. At RSL_studio on Twitter, and use the hashtag 24H series. That will be our hashtag for the whole season for our coverage here next weekend down at Yas Marina for a sprint 6-hour race. As it stands right now, and subject to all the cars that are here and ended also making it to the end of the race without need for major remedial work, more than 50 cars on the entry list. I'm being realistic, and I'd like to think we can still start 50 cars. As far as I can see, I think the most cars in a sports car race at this level that have ever been started is 34. And that was in one of the Gulf double 6-hour races really early on when we did it for audio only. They did 34. And I can't remember any more than that. If you know differently, then please let me know at RSL_studio, hashtag 24H series. I am really looking forward to that because the Yas Marina circuit races very, very well in multi-class racing. It'll be Phil Anderson, who knows that circuit very well, has raced there many times himself, and Bruce Jones will be in the Radio Sullivan Global Broadcast Centre. Diana Binks brings glamour and fragrance to the pit lane and sunshine. Yeah, Scottish sunshine, that's right. And she'll have to put up with grumpy, smelly me in the pit lane as well. It's the yin and yang. There's a balance to be had in everything. Hello to Yuki Garage watching and working late from a frigid South Carolina. NASCAR country, or just south of NASCAR country, of course. Hello there. Thank you for tweeting in. Working appears to be doing livery on what is that? Is that an NSX? There.
Yeah, right there. That'll probably be for trading paints on iRacing, I would. Yeah, it's an Acura NSX GT3
or Honda. We've seen this week actually the final team competing in major competition, stepping away from the NSX, one of the very much older GT3 cars. Gradient, of course, in the US, we knew they were going out. They've just had their new Ford Mustang GT3 delivered to them. Nick Damon has a much closer view of the damage to the back of that car collection Porsche that we had, and the Racing more than racing at the 914 trying to get down the inside of the flatbed. He could do it, to be honest, but he just turned it off. So basically, you want to know what a shorter version of a 911 GT3 looks like. They've reduced the rear length by about 4 or 5 inches, mainly by backing up the exhaust pipe, and really crushing it. There's a huge amount of cosmetic damage. It doesn't do damage to the frame as well there. This box holds very expensive. Rest of the car, looking around the front, that's absolutely fine. I think it stood with the tyre plane, so no problem at the front of the car. That's just reversed into that situated spun or tipped and then backed in, and I'm pretty certain that they won't be able to get that car back out again in time for the end of the race. And they may not even want to, but yeah, so I don't think they need structure. I think either fix the suspension. Obviously, the advantage is going in the back of a Porsche 911. You don't do easy rate it doesn't have the engine mounts or the exhaust actually is really key. So that even if that was to come back, you want that because if you don't get the back pressure right, the engine doesn't run. In Porsche terms, then it's not quite Cayman the 911, but certainly a Cortex
rather than Langhead?
My guess is it's not approved use at the moment. No, I think it's got many of the 175 checks still need to be done. Yeah, that's just it. That's annoying and expensive. For example, this team are running, I don't know if they are, but this team are running next weekend the Tamillivecore, I'm sure, apart from the massive check you've got to write.
Hello, it's in Germany, kicking off the 2025 season. Would love to come there and watch the race in person someday. Do it. We've been saying this all through the race, and he's on the Twitter as well. What a great way to spend the last weekend of the holidays before going back to work. I'm in New Zealand. Great coverage. It's been epic. Phil Anderson is back. With the marshals and the track services and recovery team here at Dubai Autodrome. It's been one of the big success stories in this region, actually, getting volunteers from here who are either indigenous or who live here to come and be part of motor racing, even if they're not driving or entering cars, much the same as it would happen in Europe. Not everybody can go touring car racing or GT racing. That has been a huge success story in a relatively short time there.
Indeed it has, John. The Dubai Autodrome and EMSO, the motorsports governing body here in the UAE, have done an awesome job. Obviously, we also have Formula One 100 kilometres down the road, and the training of marshals in this region and our recovery teams and all of the things that go along with any motorsport event, it has been sublime. And don't forget, these guys have been out on post since well before we started the race at 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and they have done a sublime job of recovering cars, waving the flags, which is the most important things to do. Oh, we've got a big spin for the 111. The 111 has got a flat left rear tyre. That was wow. He held it all together, but that's the IRC second in the GTX category, making Grant Donaldson at the wheel of that car. He's going to have to be careful that that tyre doesn't start to flail and start ripping the bodywork off. That happened in the 2-3 complex and on the exit of 4, and he's got about 4 kilometres to go to get that car back to the pits. He may take the cut through at the club length and try and get that car back. They will lose a lap if they do that, but he could lose more than a lap if that tyre comes off of that rim and that car grounds itself out. Welcome back into the Globe Broadcast Centre. Johnny Palmer. It's not the welcome you wanted back to see the 111 like that. Certainly not, but this level of excitement has seemed to follow me throughout the race, so I'm maybe not as surprised somehow. The bodywork is starting to be torn away from that car, and I appreciate that Donaldson trying to get the car back as quickly as possible. Good shout, which seems to be endearing to him, that you can shorten the lap around here. But now, with that side of the car obscured from my vision, he's getting steadily worse because the tyre's starting to tear up the rear left corner of that car.
And he didn't take the cut through at the club link either, so he's going to have to do the full he's probably got 3.5 kilometres to go now, and he's got to navigate that car through some traffic and try and stay off the racing line. He'll be shredding some Michelin rubber as that tyre wears away. Let's have a look at this again. And it looks like, the tyre's deflated. The tyre is deflated as he's come around turn 1, and it's really good work from the Porsche behind him to avoid the spinning 111. And now he's got the job to do of keeping that bodywork intact as he makes his way. And you can see that tyre now flailing as he makes his way around turn 10, heading up the hill to turn 11. There's a large runoff area on driver's right there. He'll be able to stay there and get up the hill. He's got the car right off the circuit at the moment, over close to the wall. Is he going to pull it up there? That's what I'm thinking. Wow, he's made it this far, so he's obviously desperate to try and get the car back as quickly as possible. And the damage done to that rear fender, he's not going to get. I've got him stopped at turn 11. I thought he was pulling right off the circuit there, and I think I've got him stopped down at 11. The wall is in the way. I
actually can't see it. And he's in sector 3, so maybe the timing hasn't got in quite where he is.
Still moving.
Yeah, he is moving down from turn 12 now. And he can stay on the inside. He's going to have to cross the track at some stage to get to where the pits are.
There's the gap.
So, yeah, has done that now. That will mean he's crossed the track in one direction. This will give him the inside line for the hairpin bend at turn 14, but then he's going to have to cross again. Yeah, find the gap in the traffic with only one wheel accelerating on the rear of that IRC car. It's just coming down to turn 14 now. He should turn up around turn 14. He's not on the track. He's actually on the overrun before the apex. And now comes the difficult part for him to try and get across the circuit. He's got to keep his eye on that right-hand mirror to find out who's coming up. After this Porsche, it looks like he's clear. He's already done it. He's made his way across the circuit safely. The Porsche takes his normal racing line, and now he's got a clean run down into pit lane. He's just got to try and stop that tyre from flailing too much and damaging the bodywork on that beautiful IRC. He's in the pit entry, so he's making his way down the lane. Currently second in the GTX category. We saw, John and PMAC were on at the 710 leading the category, the Life Lamborghini, and is stalled up at turn 12, and we know that car has had difficulty starting, and that got towed back on a rope as well, so back into the pits and back out again, and he's almost into the speed zone, which he won't exceed because he's now really looking after that left rear to try and make sure that it doesn't do too much more damage, but it just looked like a puncher. I actually think because this is a space frame car with the skin of the car sort of over the top of it, silhouette, a little bit of a flex to the rear fender. It doesn't look too damaged. It'll be the inside of the guard that I'm worried about. It's moved with the tyre though, so rather than it being a solidly bodywork car, I was fearful that it was just going to shark bite its way through there, but it's still relatively intact, Joe Bradley. Yeah, great job. Absolutely great job. I mean, the rear wheel arch on the left-hand side is already taxiing on there to stop that flailing around. And that's from an earlier incident. The tyres come off. Absolutely destroyed. Obviously, it's it's had a full lap without air in, so it's just sort of destroyed itself. So what the team are doing now, we've got the two hammers out here. We're back. It's aluminium sheets on the inside of the sill that runs along the side of the car that extends to the wheel arch. That's just deformed a little bit. That's been bashed in the place quite simply because it's aluminium sheet. And that's a double. The inside of it's not very far from the exhaust, the inside of this wheel. The inner wheel arch liner is, I'm not sure if it's supposed to have one. It hasn't got anything. You can see straight through to the two-frame chassis, the suspension, where it's mounted, and that exhaust. A bit of taxi going on the rear bumper, a bit of splashing of aluminium split out of the way. And I think we're ready for them to apply the wheel. The wheel goes on now, and it's not. The wheel is not touching anything, certainly anything but a sharp edge. So that shouldn't be a problem. Wheel on now. And they only ever brought one wheel and tyre out. They weren't intending on putting four on. A little bit of damage on the sill at the side. I'm not sure whether that was caused to this ignition or an earlier bit of damage. And he's already fired it up off the jacks and the gun. Yeah, a bit unfortunate there, but I'm a fan of those cars. Thank you very much, Joe. Grant Donaldson at the wheel, stays at the wheel. Will he jump in the pit lane and takes the fuel? We'll keep an eye on that. They're about 65 laps ahead of the Vortex, so no risk for that puncher of losing second place in the GTX category. Our race leaders, even after that stall up at turn 12, Tackers at the wheel of the Life Motorsport. Hurricane Super Trail Trofeo about 20 laps ahead of the IFC. Okay. And breathe. Oh, hello. Yes, there was so much happening there, just to the point where we were doing a little change around in our box, which we've been doing either at 4 hour or the 2 hour set mark, just to sure that everyone gets their designated time. And the queue for the commentary box was out the door for a while to make sure that we could do the rotation correctly. But these things tend to happen at the most inappropriate times, not least for the IRC gang, in fairness. They've been up against it for much of this race in that relatively new car, the 111. Starter motor issues have plagued them for much of this race. But amazingly, yes, that bodywork stays intact on the rear left corner, and it's just the tyre that needed to be replaced. So bent up leads in the 777 Al Manar Racing by Team WRT BMW from a couple of Porsches of Thomas Preining and Luke Hartog for Pure Racing and Dynamic GT respectively. 5:34 laps completed for the race leader, 5:33 currently for Thomas Preining, 5:32 for Hartog, and then it is Alexander Smoljar in the SMK Racing Mercedes running in fourth position. So BMW, Mercedes and Porsche all represented in the top 5 places. When we left you at 8:30 to hand over, the top 3 are the top 3. Yes, okay, they've changed positions in 2 hours we've been away, but they're back 77, 92, 24. It's the number 7 that's creeped up there, and that's the Mercedes of SMP Racing, Alexander Smoljar, and he's just 40 seconds ahead of the 991. That is the BMW, not a 992 Cup car, of Carracing competition. Ahmed Al-Afi at the wheel of that, leading the GT3 category, and leading the Pro-Am category in 6th place, Victor Shaitar in the Winwood Racing Mercedes AMG. So the top 6 still battling it out, and just waiting for there's a 1 minute 32 lead over Thomas Preining at the moment. Tyre lap, Ben's got 1 lap over Thomas in the entire race, 7 versus 8. But Thomas Preining, as John was describing, has a 4-second penalty to serve, and that was issued at around about 10:10. So he's got 2 hours to serve that penalty. Now, it's a dispensation for under a certain amount of seconds. It will just be added to the race time, but if it's over a certain amount of seconds and you don't serve it before the end of the race, it'll be doubled. So they've got to be a little bit careful regarding that. Jaap van Lagen, the touring car, now in Scotch for the MP Racing, MP Motorsport, Mercedes AMG, the all Dutch lineup, and a very Dutch livery on that car. It's been orange and black, I think, from the outset of that car being part of this championship, and the MP Motorsports initiative goes back even further than being involved in the 24H series. The runner's the number 19 on the entry, and they've had a few difficulties here and there. Still ticking off the laps, running in 19th position to match their race number. Best of the Audis, still in just about in the top 10, and the ajithcar of James Winslow. And Ferrari fans looking as high as 13th position for the Into Africa Racing by Dragon Racing 296. In fact, both the Dragon Racing cars together on the timing screen, 13th and 14th positions. And that's the Martin with, 3 cars entered into this year's race, the 20th edition of the Dubai 24 Hours. One sadly didn't make the start, that was the 41 Come To You Racing Vantage, but Matisse Lismore doing a good job in the sister car, which is still surviving, in 20th place, and on the 40 car, and a couple of places ahead of that, Earl Bamber's back at the wheel of the EBM Aston. Yep, Earl Bamber with Aston Martin, I think for the first time in his career. The car's been going excellently well, though, in his hands. 158.790 is its best lap of the race to date, and they're there in 18th position. Yeah, Earl Bamber really doing some stints in these last few hours before he heads off over to Daytona for his drive in the Cadillac. That seems as though the other drivers will be competing next weekend in the Michelin 6 Hours at Abu Dhabi, coming your way, qualifying on Saturday, racing on Sunday. Over 50 cars have entered that, and about 4/5
992 field and going down there to compete for the Middle East Trophy in the 992 and 992 AM category. We've got both the winners from last year competing this year as well in both races. So it's great to see how the Middle East Trophy has taken off, and it makes it so we've got the QMF by HRT. They were our 1992, the 23-24 Middle East Trophy champions, and the Red Camel Jordans.nl, the champions of 992 in the 23-24 Middle East Trophy. Remember, we had the Kuwait race in December, that's why it's 23-24. In 1992, earlier on in the race, they were relatively spread out across the timing screen, but now from first attempt in 992, you're looking at 21st all the way down to 30th position, so quite neatly positioned, those cars. 4 of them are of the AM driver makeup, but the 912 of Hoek van Eindhoven, white front, gold rear, just went back at the wheel of the Tierra Outdoor Racing by HWM crew, and that car leading by just over a minute over Luke Breukers in the Red Camel Jordans.nl. So car 909 still doing the chasing. Cameron McLeod doing a good job in 901 as well for the Ajithkumarracing crew. And QMMF by HRT, the Qatari team flag. And Abdullah Al-Khalifi, 974, doing the driving there. Leading in the AM division from the TFT of Giroud Guyali, and he's only 7.8 seconds there. 7.8 seconds is the gap after nearly 22 hours of racing. Unbelievable stuff. And it's amazing. At this stage of the race, we still have battles for class lead. Yeah, it's just absolutely, it just shows the entire calibre of this field. And many of the drivers have commented on that in the last 21 hours and 47 minutes. Yeah, and some of that will be to do with the amount of code 6 we've had this year, which doesn't all come together, we must remember. That's the beauty of a code 60. It provides a neutralisation of the race, a safe environment for marshals to work in, and it shouldn't compromise or alter any of the gaps between the cars. So it's not been manufactured in that respect. The only thing that people have been denied is potential racing laps because of the amount of caution that we've had. So it's prevented cars from building gaps, but it certainly hasn't brought them any closer together because Code 60 doesn't do that. 2 hours and 12 minutes still to go. It's the RSL Radio Show Limited network of channels bringing you live coverage of this 20th edition of the Dubai 24 Hours. Let's get to Joe Bradley for more stories from the pits.
Lots of stories, lots of storm operas behind the garage doors down here in the pit lane. And one massive storm opera involves the Asbest Racing team. 2 cars, cars 102 and 101. Nadia Zuhar here from the team. Nadia, you're in both of your cars. Both of your cars have kind of encountered lots of problems where a lot of teams would have said, that's it, we're going to put them in the truck and go home. But you guys have pushed on and done whatever is necessary. Give our viewers and listeners an idea of what sort of problems that the team has put to right and repair.
Well, it started this Wednesday. We had a problem with car number 101 and we couldn't drive it very well. It had a gearbox problem. So it was beginning, was not great. So we spent the whole Thursday fixing it and we just made the gearbox from day one. I couldn't even test it on Thursday. That's for 101. And second day on Friday was absolutely fine. But we couldn't make it qualifying as good as we expected. So we just started in the second position overall. But in terms of the 102 was good, running fine in the beginning. But unfortunately in the race, we found that there's a few problems, like the drive shaft and gearbox, and we had to change. And that's why I spent like 3 hours last night. And we backed out like for back position. And we catch up later on in the race. And in
in 101, we had a problem right now. Is the camera is too much and it's eating a lot of the time. So we had to put the camera on, and we did the same thing for the 102. So now we are going at first and second position in the class, but we keep pushing. The race will not finish. We have to finish first so we can finish the race.
I believe, Daniel, that you could have actually just sat the cars in the pits and still won your class and been on the podium, but you chose not to. You chose to repair the cars. And I would think the spirit is that you want to have those cars cross the finish line and take that checkered flag.
Actually, most teams they do that. They keep the cars in the pits for the last hour, and they just wait till get the checker flag and they get the podium. We decided not to. We want to race and to show people like this is racing. It's not about how many cars in the class. Just go on and have fun and enjoy it and just do it. Even though we had the problems, we decided just to go back with this Asbest team, which is from Germany. They did a great job. The mechanics, the whole team owner, everybody, and then everybody so hard had to do their job and win the race hopefully.
Fantastic, fantastic spirit. That really is endurance racing, Daniel. These guys have got to be a contender for the Spirit of the Race Award because it's crazy to keep on pushing to the checkered flag. Are you getting back in the car to finish the car?
Actually, I'm gonna get back to the car, but I'll let somebody, like, first time ever to finish. I've been doing it for 12 years, so I'll let someone else to enjoy that finish instead of it. But maybe I can half an hour in the car.
Brilliant, excellent, great stuff. I know you enjoy your time here at the 20th edition. Thank you, Nadia. And once again, these guys, we heard some stories, didn't we, about the, and I think Nadia gave us a bit of insight on that. They were destroying their front tyres, Phil, on their front-wheel drive TCR cars. And they've played with that and got this Michelin tyre to work for them, I think. And they're not destroying their tyres. But you know what? That's what the first round of the thing is all about, especially when you've got your rubber. And that's the challenge, isn't it? But the challenge for these guys to get to the check flag, I think is
I spoke to the deal last night when we came off air, and he showed me some pictures of the tyres, and working with the Michelin technicians and the setup of the car, as we've discussed many times, they've been able to get that car into the sweet spot. Yeah. You know, and this is what new tyres for a series is all about. It's about getting that setup right to work with these tyres. And they were really upset because they were running a lot of camber on those tyres with very stiff sidewalls. And they had to reduce the camber on that car in order to manage these new tyres. And it's a learning process, but not just them, all of the teams. And we've seen some teams get on top of it really quickly, and some teams really struggle because they change the front and it changes the rear dynamic as well, and we go backwards and forwards. And it's great to see my old mate Madison, who back in 2008, 2009, we were competitors in the UAE Touring Car Championship, and had many great races with him and his team back then. It's so good to see him back here at the Dubai Autodrome and running in the sale. A great passionate driver. They just want to get to the end. They want to finish this in style. Yeah. And it is reward for the pain that they've had to endure at certain points through the race. Very difficult to do. Almost like a fluid setup plan. Narrate a reaction. I don't know how long it takes and how awkward it is to change camera settings on the front of a Seat when you're in a motor race. But it's just little bits at a time. A little turn, a little tweak at every pit stop. Yeah. Race up on it. And you then don't find out whether it's the right direction to go until an hour or so later. I mean, I haven't paid close attention to know what the TCE could do on a fuel load. It might be closer to maybe 75, 80 minutes before needing fuel. And that's a long stint if you have gone in slightly the wrong direction. Having a look at what their VOP is for the Cup Racer. Well, they got 120 litre capacity. That's almost running out the 2 hours. Yes, that's almost running out the 2 hours. 100% ride home free. It is the 2012 car, so we found out. Oh wow! So it's leading its class. Yeah. And that's what endurance racing is. You got to be there at the end, and we are 2 hours and 5 minutes and 45 seconds from the checkered flag, dropping at this, the 20th Michelin. 24 hours of Dubai, the 20th anniversary, not just of this race, but also of this circuit. Great to be here again.
occasion. Last year we had the 2024 version of the 24 hours. I remember that was a nice little tie-in. Next one, well, it was the 21st birthday of the race, I suppose, in 26, and then to get to a quarter century in 2030 would be a nice one too. 27 Mercedes, that's close. I'm all in about the 6, yeah. Wow. It is indeed. Hannah Grisham at the wheel of the Heart of Racing by SPS, and then it's the Manmuri Energy. Patrick Niederhauser at the wheel of that. Niederhauser is fast at 2:01 for Grisham. 1:59.9 for Niederhauser on that last lap. So, and they've got no traffic at the moment. By my count, Johnny, I think we have around about 53 cars still running, or about that. We don't know if any cars will come out of the pit with 30 minutes to go and get to the checkered flag. And don't forget, we're going to have the Spirit of the Race go probably. We're doing that at midday today. So we'll have the Spirit of the End of the Race, which is all about what endurance racing is and what it takes and what people do to stay in this race. Nido is absolutely throwing that car all over the road, possibly thrown and touched by the fact that Hannah Grisham was coming into pit lane. Nido has got a very good run on the Heart of Racing by SPS Mercedes, wanting to overtake it, and then suddenly realising in the last minute that she wanted to pit road, so stayed well out wide between turns 15 and 16, and well over the white line on the exit as well. This car is in second position in GT3M. It's a little bit, a few laps behind, probably 4 laps behind Akmanul Arfi in the Paradigm competition BMW, in fourth position, leading the AM category. And we've got a BMW in the lead and a BMW 4, and 2 Porsches in between, Lloyd Hardock in the Dynamic GT, Thomas Prying in the Pure Racing Porsche, and there's a lap between all of those 3 cars. Once they cross the start-finish line, we'll find out what the actual time is, and see if that is coming down 58.0 on that last lap from Ben. Boy, 57.7 is the lap record. And that's a 15 lap tyres. Yeah, great going. Thomas Prying, big talent from Europe, and knows the Nordschleife like the back of his hand as well, but eager as well to increase his track knowledge. We've got them here a few times previously, but never with pure racing. But knows Porsches back to front as well, so pure racing will, I'm sure, be loving the fact that Prying, the Austrian, is part of their lineup this year, the 26-year-old. Well, I'll be looking at the timing screens going, that dynamic car just got a 10-second penalty. Ooh. And they've got a 4-second penalty, so they've got a 6-second difference in penalties at the moment. Yeah. Just hearing as well that there may be a bit of damage on the front of the number 16 Mercedes, but Windward Racing, that's Victor Scheitar in the 9th place car. The splitter drag, oh, the splitter split. It has, hasn't it? Splitter has split on the left-hand side right as we look at it. That's really gonna affect the downforce of that car. Oh, you can see it split right there. As it's basically gone back onto the tyre. That's what all the tyre smoke is about. Wow. And the section of the bumper underneath the headlight is looking a little unstable as well. So it's not just the floor level splitter. Now it's an issue for one of the 992 Porsche Cup cars, which has had frontal damage. So no splitter, no bumper on that car. And the radiators sit beneath the headlights, one on each side. Loris Nuri in the number 992 car. Nuri Racing Porsche running 4th in AM at the moment. And Code 6 is going to come out in 20 seconds. Let's just see what goes on here. Oh, he got a tap. Oh, into Porsche 3. He's gone into Porsche 3. On the exit between, and that's damaged the radiators, left and right. Both radiators have gone on that car. And he did that with, there's a load of debris all over the second. We've got Code 60. This is going to take a little while to clean up. We've got parts of that Porsche all over the track. As they lead down into turn 5. That happened on the exit of turn 4. damage to the car. I'm not sure about barrier damage, as the intervention vehicle already on site. So it looks like the track's still clean on the left-hand side, which is a racing line. All the emergency vehicles in there. The driver is out of the car. So we have the driver, he got out of the car under his own steam. But let's have a look at this. I'm not sure what the other car was that was involved. Oh, it's some car, wasn't it? Yeah, it looks like it. It's the white bonnet with the red stripes. Oh, the 992 numbered car was 10th and 4th in arm, as you pointed out. Yeah. Just trying to work out whether there was another car racing it for position. I don't think so. 509 laps was the car behind, and 515 the car in front, as the medical staff, our brilliant medical staff here at Dubai Autodrome, go to work. So Loris Naroi is out of the car, clearly winded, so being checked buttons as we speak, just to make sure that he can still breathe deeply, and they may take him to the medical centre just as soon as he's ready, but just got to make sure that he's over the shock, because he will have gone through that sequence of corners so many times. Exactly. You don't necessarily, it's part of the human condition that you sort of acknowledge that, oh, yeah, I'm going fast, but there's never been a problem up until this point, and then you get a tag, you bang into that wall, no time to react. Brace yourself. You want to try and release your hands from the steering wheel as quickly as possible once you realise there's nothing you can do. But coolant pouring out the front of that car. The fact that we've gone code 60 with exactly 2 hours to go is going to compromise some drivers as well, and some teams that owe penalties, because some might have been right on that 2-hour limit in terms of when they can serve it. There's also a rule in place that says when we enter the final 2 hours, it might even be at a phase where those times need to be added to the race time when we get beyond the checkered flag. You cannot serve a penalty whilst we're under code 60. It's 1 minute past 11 here in Dubai. It's the 20th edition of the 24 hours of the Dubai Autodrome, and the flavour of this year's race has really been that purple flag, the code 60. We weren't quite at a caution every single hour, but not far off it. And I'm afraid we're into our latest caution here on the Radio Show Limited network of channels. I can see Chris Norton down there now. Chris was the first race director at you're watching on the stream in that white shirt there. He was the first race director here at Dubai Autodrome. Okay, yeah, I remember meeting Chris, and I know him from the UK, of course, racing there as well, but Chris has been a race director at Yas Marina in the past as well for the Gulf 12 hours. I presume he's going to stay on the next weekend, 6 hours of Abu Dhabi as well. The priority here now is how much work are they going to have to do to the Armco barrier? Well, it's severely compromised. It's the post behind that has been bent, and that's where things could get very, very interesting. So the post behind has been bent, which means they might be able to get the JCB down there behind it and push it into place, as long as those posts haven't come out of the concrete. So we'll keep an eye on that. Barriers repairs needed at turn 5. Estimated time 10 minutes of barrier repair at least. And yeah, they're still assessing precisely how much work is going to have to be done. And misunderstanding maybe into the sequence of corners at 3, 4 and 5. And just that little bit of a tap onto the rear of the 992 car, the white car in behind, and another Porsche Cup car wanting to get out of that moment as quickly as possible. The spin had already been initiated, and yeah, into the wall heavily. That's pushed the Armco back. Certainly the second layer of the metalwork may need to be replaced, and what were vertical struts in behind the Armco barrier needing to potentially be changed as well. I don't think this is necessarily going to be the work of a moment, and provides us, in fact, a good opportunity here in the commentary box to welcome our next guest, because Oscar Lee of Driver Labs
has come to the booth to have a little chat about the Driver Labs initiative and the fact that actually Driver Labs and the logo is present on the back of all the cars in this year's race. So congratulations on that.
Yes, thank you so much. We're very, very proud to be part of the Preventing Series this round. It's so nice to see our logo on every single race car. As a business owner, we are so proud. You know, 1 year ago, we barely didn't have a business, and now we're servicing clients from PT3, LMP2, Formula 4, Formula Regional. So it's really a celebration for us.
Now, is Driver Labs is their base here at Dubai? Because clearly it's a burgeoning place for motor racing. Not a lot of other places around the world can offer a race of this size, and that's why it's worked so well in January for so many years as it has. But it's nice to get a local business involved.
100%. You know, Dan and I came from Asia, Dan's from Hong Kong, I'm from Taiwan, and we just saw a massive opportunity to start a motorsport business, a simulator business in Dubai. We're literally located right opposite of Turn 1, Dubai Autodrome. If you look at Nando's or Union Co-op, we're inside the mall ground level.
And this is Dan Wells, your business partner.
Yeah, it's a bit of a story, that one. You know, Dan has been managing my personal racing career for the last 8 years. We met in Zhuhai, China, of all places.
Okay.
We started racing Formula 4 together. He coached me, and, you know, at one point I just said, Dan, I want to go race Lamborghinis. So he took me to Europe. Then we eventually won the Pro-Am title, Lamborghinis in Asia last year. And now we're here in Dubai, starting a motorsport simulator business.
Yeah, so it's about simulated racing, but clearly, I mean, what came first for you, first of all? Driving the full metal cars, as we call them, or on the sims?
Well, it really started from karting. So I started karting when I was 15, and, you know, there was a massive performance delta that I needed to fill, especially in Europe. And we used simulators to effectively bridge that gap, you know, get me to the pace that I needed to be sooner. You know, I started 7 seconds off the pace in Lamborghinis to prevail in Europe. I believe at 20, it was atrocious. And Dan said, you know, listen, mate, we need to get you on a sim. We need to do proper training. And that's when I started to do a very scheduled and routine simulator training. And, you know, and we won the Pro-Am title last year. I intensive pole position at Vallelunga at the World Finals at Lamborghini Superbay Europe. So, you know, simulators has really, really progressed me and helped me so much on my motorsport journey, helped me save so much money. Because as you know, testing these days, I mean, each set of tires, gosh, 3,000 euros.
Yeah, but that costs anything in the virtual world.
Yeah.
You know, you have to buy the car, I think, and you have to buy the track that you want to be racing at.
Yeah, most definitely.
We're talking about very small amounts of cash there. But the simulation is so accurate these days. I mean, it has been for the best part of probably a couple of decades now. And the pro racing drivers use it in their downtime so that their travel can be limited. They don't need to be at every single race meeting. But I would imagine for someone that's coming out of karting that wants to try and accelerate their experience, it's invaluable.
100%. You know, when you're coming from karting and then you're suddenly jumping into a Formula 4 car, which is, you know, 10 times the weight, or you're jumping into a GT car, which is 20 times, 30 times the weight, it's incredibly difficult, and track time is so expensive, so limited. There needs to be something in the middle to bridge that gap, and that's what we found with racing simulators. It's a fantastic tool to get you acclimatized and used to a new circuit and used to a new car.
There's no question about the interest in motor racing in this part of the world, and the other thing I've noticed is that flags like Hong Kong and like Taiwan are becoming more present in big international motor races. So it's the scene there now. It's taken a little few years, but you know, the bug seems to have been really grabbed in those parts of the world as well.
You know, I think motorsport has just gotten to everybody. You know, we see the likes of Netflix with Drive to Survive. We're seeing so many motorsport-related movies. People are inspired. And I think, you know, coming to Dubai to go racing is really the pinnacle, especially in January and February, where, you know, in terms of the weather and the climate, it's really the premier place to go. and so that's why we're finding so many Asians, especially coming to the Middle East region.
You've done this race before, in 2021.
Yes.
You did quite well in that.
Yeah, not bad.
So that was in GTX category. What were you driving?
Lamborghini Super Trail Evo.
Okay. Of which we have one in this year's race.
Yeah.
Very nice.
In fact, I drove with Lightford. Shout out to Lightford Motorsport, a wonderful team based in Wegberg, Germany. Shout out to Brendan Linta as well, now driving basically all the cool stuff in IMSA as well. They're a fantastic team, and it was such a wonderful race. I remember doing a double stint and coming out the car absolutely knackered. It is so challenging at the night, during the night with low light conditions, with the sand. It's wonderful.
Tell us about how the deal with Preventic came about to get them interested in your business, and then, you know, this huge exposure for driver labs to be on every single car in the race.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Dan messaged me like 1 week ago, and he's like, "Do you want to sponsor Preventic?" I'm like, "Yes, let's do it, whatever it takes." It was very late. It was incredibly last minute. But you know, in motorsport, I think the best deals are last minute.
So it was a yes, but then, you know, you've then got to think about the logistics. But did you have all, you need stickers, and you need some means of getting the word out there, I suppose, because there'll be additional marketing as well.
Yeah.
But were you just like a coiled spring? You know, you wanted to get involved and
Yeah, exactly.
all rolling as quickly as possible.
We thought this would be a golden opportunity. It was very late. We weren't planning for this at all. From our side, you know, I'd like to give a shout out to Morag, to Dan Wells, to Mila, to everyone part of Driver's Lab to make this possible, because obviously it was very last minute. But I also want to give a big thank you to Ori from Preventing for sorting out the stickers, for sorting out the posts, and getting everything ready, because, you know, obviously this is one of the biggest events of the year, and they were flat chat as well. So very, very happy and proud to be part of this race.
So the decals have been organised for this race, but you'll know that the 24H series will continue on after this weekend, Abu Dhabi next weekend, then a 5-race season in Europe. Any plans to be part of that?
You know, I was just discussing with my business partner, Dan Wells. We're certainly quite interested, because we're seeing a large population, and certainly a lot of Europeans moving to Dubai. I mean, Dubai is just an ever-growing community, especially in motorsport. So it's something that we're definitely looking into. Obviously, it has to make sense financially, but it's definitely not a no.
Okay, that's good. And then anybody that wants to know a little bit more about driver labs and how you guys can help them, what's the suggestion?
Well, find us on Instagram at drivers.lab. Find us on our website, drivers-lab.com. Feel free to reach out to me, Oscar, at drivers-lab.com, or Dan at drivers-lab.com.
Well remembered.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. But you know, we're just opposite of Turn 1 Dubai Autodrome. Come say hi, even if it's just coming in and checking out our sims. You know, we like to help young drivers. We're helping a young driver, Hassan, right now. He's just starting karting. He's about 12 years old, doing really, really well. We looked at his data and we were like, man, it's fantastic, really.
Just being reminded that, of course, we'll be finished by 1:30, 2 o'clock. We can nip over there, can we, to have a look at your stuff?
Of course.
Excellent.
Of course. I have the keys anytime.
Joe Bradley down in pit lane and I are definitely in for that, so we might see you later on. Oscar Lee, thank you so much for popping in and saying hi.
Thank you so much.
We will pay close attention as to whether Driver Labs decals appear in the championship later on. But to Dan Wells and to Oscar Lee, great thanks. And also Preventing, I'm sure, will offer their thanks to Driver Labs as well for being a major partner for the 2025 edition of the 24 Hours of Dubai. You've missed nothing on the racetrack. We're still under the same code 60 because of what we anticipated to be a lengthy caution period. Big crash for the 992 numbered Porsche, steered right after some contact, some unintentional contact, still with an unidentified fellow Porsche Cup car, unless you had another chance to say any of those replays, Phil Anthony.
I've been on the Preventic YouTube stream trying to find it, and we're getting
time now, 11:25, which is 11 minutes from now. But it is a white Porsche with red stripes down the bonnet that was part of that unfortunate. It was just a touch, but it's on the change of direction. Okay, so it's unweighted that car on the change of direction. And that's called Porsche 3 for a reason, because if you were left off in a rear-engine Porsche around turn 4, that's where you're going to end up at the tree. Yeah, directly towards the tree trunk. Yes, I mean, it's safely positioned behind the Arco barrier, thankfully, but nevertheless, hitting a barrier that does flex a touch. They are designed to do that, to cushion the blow, but it's still done an awful lot of damage to that Porsche, which has made its way back to pit road. It was doing that while we were chatting to Oscar of Driver Labs. And so, Joe, you've had a bit more of a close look at it to assess that damage.
Yeah, it's finished. It's finished. If this was an hour into the race, it would be finished. It's not finished because there's only a short amount of time left. It's had massive front end damage. The floor area of what is effectively the hood on a 911 is folded up like a cigarette packet when you push it in your hand. It's deformed, I suppose, quite well actually, and taken up the energy from the shunts, but it's got a lot of damage on the front end. Yeah, component parts, we've got them, but the actual structural, that would take a lot of pulling out. It's going to take a sort of a body repair workshop to pull that straight. Not just a few lump hammers. So I'm afraid 992, the Double Racing entry is not going to continue. Let's have a word with Alex to see if Alex, who was your studio guest. Alex, I take it that car is finished.
Yeah. So we don't know yet. Mechanics are looking for the car, but first impression is really well. We will see. Normally, it has to drive next week in Abu Dhabi, but we will see what we have to do on the car. I think just unfortunately we don't have luck during all the race on strategy and with some technical issues. But that's part of the race. It was not our day. But
Who was driving the car, and are they fine? Are they okay?
it was Lois Nora, and we don't have any bad information, so I guess he's okay.
Okay, so he's being checked out at the medical centre, and everything is okay, yeah?
Yeah, that's I guess he will come to medical center to be sure, but we don't have any bad news, and we hope to don't have it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, major front end, lots of deformation. If they've got to get this car ready for next week, then that might look like a reshell or... Yeah, it's that bad. I'm not sure that'll look well.
It's the 928, which was the other car involved in that, Michael Blanchimont, at the wheel of the HRT performance car, currently running 6th in the AM category. It doesn't look like he's sustained any damage. As we have a look at the replay again, he's on the inside, the 992 is on the outside, and they just wanted that same piece of track. Yeah, get that line into turn 5.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether any blame is assessed there. That's not our job to describe what's gone on,
Exactly.
and then that will be looked at from various different angles, not just the same one we have here in the commentary box. There are other locked-off CCTV cameras that Race Control will have access to. It's very tricky to call that. They were fighting, as you say, and trying to get to the same bit of asphalt. There was certainly nothing deliberate there, but Blanchimont will be concerned now, potentially, about whether there is a late penalty that he will need to serve to right the balance. The Code 60 will prevent him from doing or serving any penalties, as it will for 5 of the top 6 cars. For instance, Dynamic ET's Porsche still has to serve 10 seconds at some stage, as do the SMP Mercedes and the Manamari Energy Porsche for Patrick Niederhauser. You can't do it now. There's also a rule that suggests it's a little sketchy for the final 2 hours of the race. So the other option that the race direction crew have is to add it to race time once we're finished at 1 o'clock, and some of those penalties may be carried on to the final result sheet instead.
Well, what they do is it's under a certain amount of seconds that will be added to your race race time, but if it's over a certain amount, it will be a double and added to your race time, okay? So this is a run up from another angle, side by side through 4. Yeah. And he just comes back to get the racing line into 5, and unfortunately, well, they weren't side by side at the point of impact. No, there's sometimes criticism in similar incidents for a change of direction, change of line for the car slightly ahead. But the 928 car was trying to prize the opening and did of course have the option of getting out of the throttle when the initial contact was made, but without seeing any telemetry, it's very difficult for us to comment. So we'll just have to pay close attention to the list of penalties and see whether either of those cars are added to it. Well, what that has done, now that Michael Blanchimont is still laughing, he's now gone in front of the Sepjalu on the leaderboard. Oh yes, okay, so he went on the same lap. No, the incident happened, were they? But Seblaju's car is obviously not doing any laps at the moment, whereas that 928 car is, and yeah, Blanchimont now ahead of Loris Naroy. Yeah, and and that puts him up into 5th position, and unfortunately for the Sebjalu Racing car, down into 6th position, as we're around about, hopefully about 5 minutes from getting there. It's still a load of track vehicles. They do have the JCB out, and they're pushing it from behind. Great work from the track team here at the exit of turn 4 down towards the entry of turn 5, and they're trying to get those barriers. We've got 1 hour 38 minutes and 30 seconds to go in this, and we started this at 10:58. We're just on around about 20 minutes into this code 60. We've already had 4 hours and 47 minutes under code 60. And this is code 60 number 20. For the 20th edition of the race. So it will be a good number to stop at. Yes, with 1 hour and 38 minutes still to go. But on average, so 20, and we're now in the 22nd hour. 23rd hour, in fact. Yes, that's right. With 37 minutes of the 23rd hour still to go. So we're still just under the 1 code 60 per hour marker, but it's not that far away. What the record number of code 60s? But we can't be a million miles away from breaking a record we really didn't do. Exactly, with the quality and caliber of this grid. It's just, and we've got to talk about the time of day, you know. We've been running now for 22 hours, 22 minutes. The drivers are tired. Even though they try and get rest in between their stints, it's very difficult to do at the circuit. You know, you don't get the rest and relaxation that you want in between stints. Everything's tired, the pit crews are tired, so it is difficult for just a brief lapse of concentration to cause something like that, where he thinks he's got past the car, or, you know, what do you do? We might have found, we have found the base for Seb, one of our RF cameramen, others at 0221, I think. It's almost as if they've deliberately thrown the drone there to make sure it's outside their window and realise that there's a chance of it on TV. So a wave from the window for Seb and others. As, well, sleep is in a premium, as it always is in the penultimate hour of a 24-hour race, but the enthusiasm is still definitely there. These guys work behind the camera, but they've always secretly wanted to be the focus of attention. Seb with the VIP media jacket on. Now he's going to run away, look. Embarrassed. That pit machine. As he does, as the UAE flag flies proudly over Dubai Autodrome. The more embarrassing thing about that is that the drone was probably being controlled from that on. Exactly. So, talk about, you know, wanting to seek the limelight. They can organise that whenever they wish. Well, Seb doesn't normally get on camera because he's holding it all the time. But yeah, and I feel
feel sorry when I was doing the pit walks back in Yas. He has to bend down so far to get me head on, whereas with Nick, he doesn't have to worry about it. They're around about the same height. But with us vertically challenged people, he was having to crouch over. I felt sorry for him. I think Seb towers above those people. Well, he does. And then the chap that I met earlier on, Johnny Westbrook, now he takes it to a whole different level. You can always find Johnny Westbrook, and we had a chat about Johnny. He builds heritage touring cars. He built a beautiful Audi that Emanuele Pirro drove at the Goodwood Festival. He's got another few under construction at the moment, him and his family. And from the super touring area? Yeah. So he's always got things on the build. He comes out here and works for TTR Racing, works with the Radicals and the Clios. So he's a busy boy, plus all of the stuff that he does back in. So if you watch the Goodwood stream online, you'll always see Johnny in the pits because he towers above everybody else. But it's great to have him here, and the local team TTR Racing putting the work together in the GT4 category, and they're currently third in there. Wonderful to have Heart of Racing as part of this race, powered by SPS, but Heart of Racing are going to be making waves in 2025 in the FIA World Endurance Championship with their two Aston Martin Valkyries. I'm sure loads of fans looking to head to Le Mans this year will be looking forward to June for this very region as well. And Ian James of Heart of Racing now has a chance to catch up with Joe.
That group was showing up the wheel of the 27 Mercedes, the Heart of Racing Mercedes. I want you to know, do you know how hard it is for me to say Heart of Racing, stop, brake engage, Mercedes? I know, that's a bit of an anomaly these days, but yeah, we do like driving the Merc now and again. Yeah, I was, firstly, before we talk about the rest of 2025, it's been a bit of a character building one for you guys, this one. Yeah, not too bad, you know, it's our first race with Hannah Grisham from our female academy, our first GT3 race. She's done remarkably well. So far, we haven't really had many issues. Been a bit unlucky with the code 60s, but it goes that way sometimes. And we're still in the hunt for a podium, so all good, really. Give us a bit of information about the academy and the female academy. Where's Hannah come from? Yeah, well, a couple of years ago, we did a shootout. You know, we had up to 200 young ladies audition for it. Then we had a shootout in the last 10, and Hannah was one of those girls. So she's been running GT4. Doing really well in there, and then just stepping up to the GT3, and she's done remarkably well this weekend. And Ian, was based on pure performance, or was budget required, etc.? No, we wanted to take the social economic side out of it, and it really was on the right character, the right speed, and who we thought we could progress through the ranks, and we really wanted to work for. It's not a box tick for us. We really want to work for some young ladies to go all the way. Fabulous to hear at least. Motorsport is kind of an unfair sport, isn't it? They say the next contender is driving a taxi around Sao Paulo, so very commendable what you guys are doing there. For you and Heart of Racing 2020, we are starting what is going to be one heck of a journey, isn't it? Yeah, this is just the beginning of the iceberg, as it were. But we're happy to be here, starting off in Dubai. It's a good warm up. Then we roll into Daytona, and then obviously Qatar will be the rollout for the new Valkyrie Hypercar program. So super excited. Got programs going all around the world, and just very fortunate. You know, to continue to support Gabe Newell and Seattle Children's Hospital and all the schools raising money for the cardiac care center there. So yeah, we're very lucky. Have you predicted how many air miles you're going to cover this year? I surmise, in my head, it's going to be a lot. Yeah, somebody showed me a graphic of all the trips I'll be taking this year, and that's a bit scary, but needless to say, I'm the top tier on American Airlines these days. Alright, well, you feel it. You must be very excited the way you know you, as we do, you're a pure racer, and to have that season ahead of you, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's really a dream coming true for me and everybody at the Heart of Racing, but I started the Valkyrie project, pushed me to make it happen 3.5 years ago, so to see it come to fruition, and it'll be a very, very proud moment when we see it roll up on the grid in Qatar.
Well,
you know the fan base is looking forward to it. You've got all that British fan base as well for getting ready for that big one in France. That must be exciting as well. Just that one alone, think about that one. Yeah, I can promise it's going to be loud and proud when we get to Le Mans. So hopefully we can re-engage the British Army that used to go for the Jaguar days and get behind the team and let's see what we can do. Yeah, I'm already seeing the stages that you're still in your race gear. Are you out in the car to finish it? Yeah, looks like they're going to put the old boy back in there for the last stint here. So yeah, I mean, like I say, it's a great platform for us to give people opportunities, not just the drivers, the crew, and you know, they're coming up through our ranks. And I like the way they organise it, and it's a nice atmosphere. Well, you know, we'd like to have you here. Welcome any time, and I look forward to it. I'll probably bump into you at Daytona, but great to have you here, and good luck for the rest of the season. And you need a massive good luck for the rest of your season, because it's huge. Yeah, fingers crossed. But like I say, I'm living the dream every day, and any day a race is a good day for me.
Ian James from Ajithracing, and their link up the German squad SPS, who bring the Mercedes knowledge with them. And they say they keep bringing that Mercedes out time and time again. A little precursor to a very Aston Martin year otherwise. Zach Robichon, who's driven Porsches in the past, but he's now slotting himself into the Mercedes and doing well into the top 10 for that car now. There are actually 3 AMGs occupying those top 10 spots. The best of them being the SMP Racing example for Sergei Sorokin, 5th place for that GT3 lineup, whereas the 27 Hard Racing crew it is an AM lineup. Zach Robichon, one of the semi-pros. Under a minute to go to the end of this Code 60 with under an hour and a half to go, which means a driver can get in now and go to the end of the race. It's under 2 hours. So see if anybody is doing that. We know that cars came in and took tyres. We had Dynamic from second position, Pure Racing. So all of those young tyres on those cars. I think Almanar was one of the first ones in because they've got an extra lap on it. So they've come in and taken it when everybody saw that this is going to be around about a 25-minute as we go green. A couple of cars didn't quite get the message there. We've got a slow car on the right-hand side of the circuit coming down. Two slow cars coming down into turn 14, and that's causing a bit of consternation. It's all bunched up coming out of turn 15 as they try to sort them out, getting some temperature into the Michelin tyres. They've been running around at 60 kilometres an hour for 25 minutes. We've seen things happen at the restarts after long Code 60s, but hopefully the track's got enough temperature in it now that we're not going to have the same issues. Yeah, but there's an issue for one car coming out of the Code 60, which is one of the many Porsche Cup cars, 28th place? 9-8. 9-8, no, it's the 7x7 car, isn't it? For the driver simply known as Banksy. Yes, not that one, the Japanese Banksy. The 989 car did not get anywhere close to racing speed. You were spot on in the different speeds that were offered coming out of the Code 60. That's entirely reliant on when and where you see the flag being withdrawn. It was coming out of the first corner, the right-hander, down towards turns 2 and 3. It's got a problem with that car. He's pulled it off the tracks. Obviously a technical failure on the Japanese green still because he is a long way off the circuit, and he's got it going again. Just so that front left isn't rotating. The front left is locked solid, and it's just rubbing that Michelin tyre away. It's not locked. And he's going to try and make it back. He can get through the carbon club. He's heading down towards turn 6 now. He's on the overrun, so he's not on the circuit at all. And he's trying to get that car around that corner, but he's going to have to cross over. That's it. Cross-threaded somehow. I don't know. Tyres down, first of all. Yeah. So he's not rotating possibly for that reason. The front right is going around though, so I don't think it's anything to do with brakes. Unless it's exclusively on the front left corner, that's failure. But that is very bizarre. Whether the steering is helping him at all, because the front left doesn't rotate, but I think the steering arm is still engaged just about. Once he gets through the river,
starting like another 3.5 kilometres on only 3 rotating wheels and tyres between turns 7 and 8 at the moment on the inside of the track. You will need to cross the circuit to access the club link to get back to the end, because that is definitely not just a tyre change. There is something else wrong with that front left. As he makes his way on the over-under run, so he's well off the circuit, around about 30 metres off the circuit at the moment. Just keeping an eye on where he is coming out. It seems that this problem didn't manifest itself in the code 60. Only then as he tried to get back up to speed, the 7x7 989 numbered car for Banksy, running in 9th position in the 992. Now that is a non-AM driver line, so in amongst the 992 code, in effect, it's split at the third board, 6th place for car 989. Just waiting for him to come out of the gap on the back front, the clock, which cuts through to turn 14, which means you miss the 10, 11, 12, 13, and about 3 kilometres. So he hasn't arrived as yet. I can see everybody in the grandstand having a look. Yes, he is using the cut through, and he's coming into turn 14 now. And this isn't part of the normal circuit, this is part of the club circuit here at the Dubairacing, the 2.4 kilometre circuit that uses turns 17 and 18. Yes, we do have a 17 and 18, but it's on the infield after turn 1. And it back parallel to the start-finish straight, turns left and then turns right and takes you onto the back straight. But he's keeping that car moving with that. Just try not to burn the clutch on that car, because it would be really putting a load on first grip. He's on the apex of turn 14. So very close to her. Let's hope not very much worse. Began turn 3 and 4. He's going well off the track. Side of the circuit at 14, just got a white flag there that signifies a slow-moving vehicle, and he's just about to get up to the crest of turn 15, and then it's a downhill run into the pit lane. Yes, he must be maximum of 5 at the moment. He tries to bring that car back into pit lane to see if they can sort out whatever that issue is with that front left-hand tyre. That's the side of the car that's been on the focus of the race. The next side of any of the race cars gets more suspension force and more tyre wear. We've got 9 right-handers here and 7 left-handers. Yeah. So it is the left-hand side of the car as we run a clockwise circuit, of course. Yeah. But he has made it down into pit lane now, and the downhill run helping the momentum. It may be therefore a suspension failure or something that's gone wrong with the hub. We'll check on that just to see if the car, if it reaches pit road, and how much damage has been done to the car. I think it's about 100 metres from the pit entry line. And just coming down now, and he's in pit lane. In the meantime, Max Hester continues to lead the race in the Almanar Racing by WRT BMW. Something like a 3-minute lead over Dynamic GT Porsche of Klaus Bachler, and Alexei Nessov was put into the Pure Racing Porsche during the previous stop. Darren Young still representing Paradigm competition with their BMW as the AM class. Very broken front left corner for the 989. 7x7 Porsche Joe arriving now right in front of you. He's got a brake disc that's gone on him. It's what happens when these brake discs wear. They form microscopic cracks that you expect every time the car stops. Well, eventually they explode quite catastrophically. It's like a bomb going off. And Seb, if Seb gets in,
All of those bits there in between the wheel spokes, that's brake disc. The caliper is there, the caliper's falling off. It's been a catastrophic failure of that brake, and it exploded with the kind of the entry of a bomb. And you'll see the clean brakes of the cast iron clean brakes. They were cracked once, and then eventually the thing goes. You put the brake on, and that all goes bang, and then you'll have lost it completely. And everything's jammed up. That won't stop in the wheel rotation. There's just bits of metal and bits of brake discs and caliper and all sorts in there, and that's just jammed the wheel. I think it's quite repairable. I mean, it's kind of worth taking off, taking the stuff like you would a normal pigeon. Hopefully, it hasn't damaged anything within that area, like brake piping. I don't think it has. I think it's just gone bang, everything's stayed within the wheel. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to rectify this again. And we have to almost make a circular saw to that wheel there and slice it into bits to get it off the hook. It's already what? The wheel, the big problem, you take the wheel off, the wheel will come off, and then as you come it off, and you take it off, the wheel is like off the bits, and hang on, I'm going to get set around here. I've got this lovely bits to break this set. Here we go. Get set camera on this. If Seb gets his camera on the inside of this wheel, that's how the wheel came off. And there's the brake disc. That's the actual brake disc that attaches the brake pad. Well, this thing here, yeah, that's the brake pad. Oh, we got it. Yeah, my finger in there. That's the brake pad. So as you took the wheel off, you take the wheel off, you pull the wheel off, the wheel's just containing that box of bits of metal, and we obviously can't get in with the camera to see what's going on underneath the wheel arch. I might be able to poke my little head in though and describe. Look at it. Yeah, you know what? Everything looks fine. New brick bell with a new disc attached. We'll go on there. I think the biggest problem is going to get the caliper off because it's all bent and twisted. So, again, if it pulls off, that's everything gets carried. If everything pulls off as it should do, then everything should pull on as it should do. And from what I can see, there's nothing we can do there. It's just an exploded brake disc. When you run someone like that together, it's quite common in spirit cars. They wouldn't fit in my face, so they were somewhat stressed to their limit and beyond. What is that trailing on this side of the number 16 car? It looks like a ratchet. It's a ratchet strap. I will like that car. It's got the metal ratchet attached to it, which is banging up against the side of the car on the 16. So I can't imagine that car has picked that up from anywhere around. Maybe they were using it to secure something on the car. Yeah, and either the company was on there or it was secured at one moment and now it's not. But it's dangling from almost the full mirror on the number 16 car. I think it actually was initially attached just in front at the bottom of the A-pillar. We were racing in their AMG GT3 Evo. And that is heading down and was holding the splitter up. Remember, this had the splitter that went away, and it must have been holding the splitter together. We saw that splitter go on the start-finish straight a few hours ago, and we were racing and been using that to hold it together. You can see it there where it let go. Gabriel Piana at the wheel of the 16 car, and that's dangerous. That can be flicked up into another car. So we'll be talking to him on the radio.
orange flag, i.e. the black flag with the orange spot on it, and then we generally get 3 laps, I think, to react to that. Yeah, the guys up in the start-finish gantry box having a great look at that now, and on the radio to race control to tell them all about it. So the eyes on track from the start-finish gantry were very, very interested to see what that is. They do have a TV down there as well as a timing screen, and we focus on that. It's not slowing Gabriel Piana down. He still holds the fastest lap of the race at 1:57.777, set on about lap 5. It would have been about 1:15 yesterday afternoon as he makes his way around the circuit. Exactly quarter to midday on day 2 of the 24 hours of Dubai. This is the 20th edition of this great event, brought to you live and as it happens on the Radio Show Limited network of channels. Now, in about 15 minutes' time, we will be awarding the Spirit of Race, which is I was going to say annual award, but actually it's not. It's every single race of the 24H series now holds, and a chance to recognise, put the spotlight on a lesser fancy car, but one that has potentially been really through the mill and gets extra points for continuing on, not getting distracted, for not being put out of its stride and just wanting to get to the finish. They're not literal championship points, but we do give whichever crew wins it and a separate trophy, the Spirit of the Race Award. So we just got some nominations here, Phil. Yep. Thinking about who has drawn our attention, which will be outside of the top 10, I'm sure. And Joe's already got a potential car or anything driver to look out for. Still keeping our eye on the number 16, Gabriele Piana Windward Racing Mercedes, because that car has not yet needed to come in. Well, Joe, what are your thoughts on Spirit of the Race? My nomination was the car 414 Razoo Porsche. That car came in and I thought, that's finished. That's absolutely mullered. The front end was completely squished. And then I walked back about an hour later and that had all stripped off the wood building at the lunatic. So, and it drops all the way down the timing screen. If you have a look where it is, car 414. It's way down. Not a ball in hell of getting anything out of this race, other than the satisfaction of making the challenge of getting the car to the checkered flag, and that's the only reason why Razoo put that car back together and continued on, and it's still going round and round. I think that is the passion, the craziness, the stupidity of endurance racing. We are summed up perfectly. But they're not necessarily any team that have not given up. I've already got some thoughts. Let's see where Phil's going to go first, but we need a bit more time. Well, unfortunately, I have to go. Oh, okay. I saw that car under 3 layers of tyres. I thought, that is no way that is coming back after a brake failure on the fastest part of the circuit. And buried under 3 layers of tyre, pulled it out, and I thought, right, I think that, no, that's not going anywhere. And as Joe quite rightly said, they never gave up. Yeah. They never gave up. When he talked to them in the paddock, it was all positive. We're going to get back. We're going to do this. With the assistance of Ford, they got back and got running again. It totally destroyed all the bodywork at the front of the car. And I was looking at it going, it's the front end square? What's going on? We don't know. It's a drivable. Well, clearly it's drivable. Ajithkumarracing has the wheel of that car right now. The 414 and out back, and they are currently running 4 ECT4. Unbelievable. Well, I like one-offs, and we've got a couple of those here at this year's race. The McLaren is surprisingly the only McLaren 720S to be in this year's race, and whilst I was doing my pit lane stint a little earlier this morning, that car had already entered the pit road and been in the garage, and after, I remember this now because it matched the race number of that car, 3 hours and 33 minutes, the car finally left the garage. They've done a full gearbox change. It had to sort pretty major ABS issue as well, where the sensor was playing up. And rather than interrogate too much, they just said, let's just change everything that we can do in the time allowed. And the McLaren got back into the race. It is still running as well, with Morgan Tilbrook at the wheel. They're taking the Optimum Motorsport McLaren to next weekend's 6 hours of Abu Dhabi. And then the other one off in this race is the IRC GT, which has had no end of trouble. The latest one being a pretty major rear puncture, which started to eat away at the rear left fender. But then we're having that constant problem with the starter motor. Yes, it wasn't obeying instructions. So 3 or 4 mechanics required on the back of the car to pump start it and send it down to the fueling area. It just looks, and more importantly, sounds superb with that 6.2 litre V8 LS3 engine. So there will be 2 nominations from me. Just under 9 minutes to go before we get a full decision on that, and we get the opportunity for Joe to oversee the awarding of the spirited race. Now, I've got a thought here. Now, the 16 is saying we've got 1 hour and 8 minutes to go. We saw the Winwood team getting ready. Now, are they trying to get to the 1 hour mark so they can fill it and get to the end of the race? That would make sense. It would. So that's why they're hanging it out there. They know that the pits are ready for the car to come in, and it will have 1 stop to go. The Winwood car at the moment, 15 laps on those tyres, and it's got 10-second penalties as well. Race control's been out and had a look. I'm just keeping an eye on the start-finish gantry, whether they do hang the meatball flag out for it shortly. I'll have a lap after the season to come in and pit, and with just under 1 minute, 1 hour and 8 minutes to go, it could get very close. And he's making his way now down the back straight.
The Pro-Am category, Gabriele Piana at the wheel of the 16 Mercedes AMG. He heads down towards turn 10. So his left-hand corners when that thing just flies out. Right-hand corner, sorry. And he's heading up the hill. And around turn 12. Still keeping an eye on the flag stand. You can get 2 more laps in it, they should be able to do a pit stop and fuel to the end of the race. Thank you to Johnny Palmer, and welcome back to the last, just on the last hour and 6 minutes to John Honoff.
Yeah, good to be back. JP will be back for the end. We'll get everybody through the Global Broadcast Centre of an all skate, as my American colleagues would call it. And we are still, I think, a little closer to understanding this race, but I'm not calling this, Phil. I am not calling this race at all in the top class. In 992, there's 8.5 seconds between Tierra and Red Camel. GTX, 34th position for Lightfoot Motorsport. Work their way up with the last Trofeo car.
When it was parked out at turn 12. Oh, not forgetting. Unbelievable.
Remember, they've not had a starter motor from about, I think, 4 or 5, absolute latest 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
In GT4, what a race for the BMW GMT Racing by Simpson. Ramesh Atam behind the wheel of that car. And for me, one of, if not the team of the race, as best makes it, they'll be first and second in TCE. I think for about 18 hours of the race, one or other of the cars have been in the pit, and they've changed the gearbox and stripped the whole front end of the cars away. It's just been incredible. And that was scratching the surface. Those are only the class leaders at the moment. There's the Pro-Am leader is Winwood Racing, Gabriel Pian, who started the race, will finish. The AM class is Paradigm Competition, who look like a contender for the overall for a little while. In AM 992, this is going to be another huge story. End of last year, in the inaugural running of the 992 Endurance Cup, powered by Porsche Motorsport at Spa, QMMF by HRT won the AM class their first international victory. It was huge for them. The party was immense. Their smiles were wide. And then, of course, they got back home and the local coverage, I saw some of it, was massive.
Absolutely.
If they can repeat that AM win here in the 24, this is going to be massive. There is coverage, Qatari media here this weekend. This is going to be huge. Meantime, as you called it earlier on, the number 16, Gabriele Piana Winwood Racing, first in Pro-Am at the moment by just over a lap from Herbert Motorsports, number 91 car. That's the car with the flapping under tray at the front that was held on by a ratchet strap. The ratchet strap's unfastened. That's flapping around with a bit of metal, a metal buckle on it, and the under tray is flapping around. They've now been given the meatball flag, the black and orange flag there. That is, you get no grace on that. That goes out. It's not as if you've got 3 laps to come in. You have to come in at the next opportunity past the pit lane.
And that's going to work out perfectly for them, because just over an hour to go, they can filter the fuel to the finish.
What are you doing with that then? Do you just rip the splitter off and say you're going to have to deal with it with a new set of Michelin?
Well, 7 got down into their pit, and we could see a whole heap of masking tape being prepared up on the side.
Yeah, the big strips. Yeah.
There he goes. Very late call in the pit lane. Is he going to pull it up? Yes, he is.
Oh, he went across the hatching there, and Gabriele Piana, who put in a stunning 157.7 earlier in the race. We've had the 92 Pure Racing car with a 57.1 lap record pace from Gabriele Piana on lap 3 of the race, by the way, and a lap record that's stood since 2021. And into the pit lane, let's go down to Joe Bradley, who is there.
Ratchet strap is still flapping around. They're going to service the car while they're at it. The ratchet strap has been doing a job. I'm not quite sure what it's been doing. The bonnet on or something. They've rammed it round the door mirror, and then it's going somewhere inside underneath the bonnet of the car. They've chosen not to do that anymore. And I tell you what, you know the grooves atop the wheel arch that helps with the airflow coming from out from the inside the wheel arch. They've covered them up with this gaffer tape. I'm not sure that's better.
That car had a broken front splitter, and it was part of holding that up and keeping it together. And the strap had broken.
So new tyres went on that, and while they were repairing that fault, which brought out the mechanical fault flag for it, they chose to put new tyres on, and so new tyres have gone on that car as well. It's gone. A very, very quick job by the way.
Probably not an FIA certified ratchet strap.
Yeah, that's quite dangerous actually. If you come off and being left on the track.
Well, the thing is,
they've actually not even bothered trying to unfasten it. They've just cut it and got that strap away. The car is already in the fuel station,
and they'll get to the end now on fuel.
A great flag stop. They did not have. Oh, hang on. No, they've got a 10 seconds.
So they've got to come back in anyway.
Or that will be added to the end. It'll be
8 multiplied. It's over 2 seconds, so it'll be doubled. Yeah.
And so they may need a splash before the end. They can't do a penalty under code 60. 4 of the top 5 cars have penalties still to serve. As Max Hesse comes in from the lead, Almanar Racing by TWRT. And this again should be a green flag stop. So Joe Bradley, this should be the last stop for Max Henter, already gone past you and into the pit lane, into the fuel station.
I tell you what, I wish I could have done a video of that one and then sold it as how to do a pit stop, because that was absolutely phenomenal. They had the choreography of Swan Lake about it. I mean, what else? Why would you expect anything more from Vincent Voss's team? It's got Team WRT and dropped the top of the garage door, and that's who's running this car. And it was absolutely exquisite to watch. Everybody knew their job, and everybody did it literally foot perfect, feet perfect.
So we saw that the penalty box was absolutely chock-a-block full, so they had to take a penalty. But you don't have to be in the box; you just have to park up. So they could have just lined up there somewhere and start the pit lane. He went to go in. He did. He should have gone. He should have, because they're going to have to do another stop now. And the only thing that I would, I think what I might have done is said to the officials, we'll do this in our box because it was full and we didn't want to stop the pit lane. And they could have done that, but they have not served that 10-second penalty. Well, the top five, only one car hasn't got a penalty to serve at the moment, and that's Max Hesse in the Almanar Racing team. And they are in fuel at the moment. This will be their last scheduled stop in this 20th running of the Michelin 24 Hours of Dubai. We have 58 minutes to go before we see the checkered flag. Battles raging out there at the moment for the 992 Tierra Outdoor Racing. Leading by just a few seconds over Rick Broikers in the red Camel Jordans.nl. Remember, they're our reigning 992 Middle East champions from last year. So that battle is still going on. How's this happening, John, in the last hour of the race? It's just so phenomenal.
We've seen it time after time here, and let's remind ourselves, there has been no closing up of the field by safety cars. We have not had a single safety car because they don't have safety cars. Already, the race tape on the 16 car has ceased to do its job for Winwood and Gabriele Piana. He's now lost the lead in Pro-Am, but Alfred Renard has still got his last stop to make.
Yeah.
But that is 20 odd laps away. So actually, Renard is going to be it might just need a splash of fuel for Renard. They might be saying, let's gamble on one more Code 60. They've got to do that now. And get in, they may only need 25% to get to the end here, Phil. So this is not done in Pro-Am. Third position in Pro-Am is Matt Bell now, the younger of the two Newcastle-born Bell boys. And I said Newcastle purely. Rob, his brother there, I had a good chat with. Good to see Rob Bell. Our football rivalries aside, us Northeasterners, once we get out of region, we have to stick together. So the Dragon Racing Ferrari, just a couple of laps behind. I want to see the pace that Gabriele Piana can do in that Winwood car, because the front end of that car will not be performing aerodynamically. Because the diffuser is flapping around like a wide-mouthed frog underneath the front of the AMG. Secondly, as Brad has pointed out, they've taped over the ducts on top of the wheel arch, which does keep the front of the car on the ground as well. We're inside the last hour. You're listening to RS1 out around the world in sound and vision with YouTube and the Graventic Motorsport channel. 55 minutes to go, and the checkered flag will give us our winners in the classes and the podium finishes, but there's always one particular trophy that is decided before the race ends, so that we can honour the recipients of spirit of the race. And I have to say, there have been some epic big tries to get to the end of this race, and many teams that we could mention up and down the pit lane. I do not envy the people who've had to make this decision. You can talk about the guys with the new Rosser, talk about the Zorg Redsport guys who changed the engine before we even raced, and what about the two Asbest racing cars? They seem to have had a car in the pit lane, one of their two cars, for at least 18 hours, and they'll be first and second, all worthy mentions. But Joe Bradley has got the news of which team will be taking home the coveted Spirit of the Race award for the Michelin Dubai 24 Hours.
The award for this Dubai 24 Hours goes to car 414, the Razoo Racing. Paul came in, it was absolutely demolished, and I've been around racing cars a long time, and I thought, oh, well, that's it, that's over. And then we spoke to the team principal here, Dominic Albert. Dominic, when I spoke to you last night, and you were quite shocked when I said, is the car finished? Because you kind of went, no, we're going to fix it. And the crazy thing is, you guys fixed it. You did an absolute, I don't know how many hours it took to put the car back on the track, but you fixed it. It's going round and round, and it will see the checkered flag. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and yeah, congratulations to my team. They did an amazing job, so thanks to these guys. They are really great, and yeah, the best I could wish. So.
I have got Peter Fry here from the Carracing organisation to present the trophy, and it really is a team trophy as well.
The whole team wish keep going on, never giving up. It's well deserved. This one for you.
Thank you very much. As Peter said, Dominic, it's for the team. It's for all the boys and girls who are very dirty and sweaty right now. What makes it? What made you guys, or what makes you guys continue and push and repair the car and push it to the flag?
I think it's our DNA. We never ever give up, and as long as there is any possibility we can fix the car, we fix it, we go out again. Doesn't matter if we can race one lap or 6, 7 hours, 10 hours. So I think that's also a good thing. All people in my team have that in their minds. So yeah, I would not say they love it, because we love it if you run it without any trouble. But if we have problems, these are the best guys you can wish, and so they fix it, and then we go out again. I'm really happy and proud about that team.
I'll leave you to present your team with the trophy. Thank you, Dominic. Congratulations. Great effort. Hashtag very much. Hashtag this is endurance there for the Razoo team.
Absolutely brilliant. We could have given out 5 of those.
Oh, that's 7.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a story at least one good story in every class. Joe Bradley's classic quote is, "There's a soap opera behind every garage door." Well, there's 2 teams in some of these garages, so there's a couple of different
melodrama behind it.
Yeah, there's a couple of different series there. In the 909, in the 992 class, Rick Reuters is back in the lead after Sierra Outdoor Racing have pitted for their final time. Van Eindhoven is in behind the wheel of that car. He's just rejoining. Now, I'm going to work out 23 laps on the tyres of Rick Reuters and an 18-second penalty still to soak up. So they'll want to get again as close to the end of the race so they don't have to take too much of the fuel. And the question will be, when does Paul Truswell pull the trigger to do that last pit stop? Because the worrying thing, if we now had a long code 60, would they be able to get to the end on fuel? And what would a 36-second penalty do to that car? The answer is not costing the lead in the race. So that is a gamble I think that's worth taking. Dynamic GT in stop lane for their final stop of the race. This is the number 24 car. Klaus Bachler coming in from the lead. 55-second lead as he was coming into the pit lane. Max Hesser has done his final stop. So this is finally where the stagger unwinds. Because when the dynamic white and blue car, this is the Visit Dubai sponsored car with the skyline of downtown Dubai on the car. When that car comes out of the fuel station, which is where he is now, with the Emirates that fuel service there using the smart pumps. They're even straightening the car up while fueling. That is such attention to detail. So the 24 car will lose the lead here. Incredible. Absolutely incredible race. We had 2 Porsches and 2 BMWs for the most of the race. A little mention for SMP Racing in the number 7 car, because Sergei Sirotkin is in that car at the moment. They have quietly gone about their business and done a really good job. Harder Racing, I would say the same. They're looking to be just off the podium in Arm at the moment. SRT have had a few dramas, but they're on the Arm podium at the moment as well. And Rick Reuters leads 992. Lightfoot leading GTX. AGMC by 5 laps now over SRSO Rensport. Harley Houghton behind the wheel of that car. Harley, the youngest driver to take part in the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Covered that last year. And still, Jack Allison for Asbest Racing in the Seat Leon. The old Seat Leon Cup car, going back to 2017. Some final thoughts from you, Phil Anson, a race that you have followed for very many years here, a race that you have seen develop in terms of the racing, the machinery, and indeed the status of the event, not just globally, but crucially in this area of the world, in the UAE and indeed the Middle East as a whole.
I spoke with Tarek from Dubai on the drone. 50,000 tickets purchased.
They stopped taking registrations on the website because they were worried about the grandstand, because they didn't have the area further down. They were worried that if everybody turned up, the people wouldn't be able to get through the tunnel.
And the work that they've done here this weekend, but as this race goes, as you said earlier, John, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't. Simple as that. This race, these top 4 cars have been seesawing since hour 1. Yeah. And every time they pit, they change position. The same goes with 992, 992M, all the GT3 Pro, GT3M. The quality and calibre of drivers that we have here this weekend has been mentioned by many drivers we've interviewed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just picked up a couple of little things. Winwood Racing, you know how Gabriel Piana really came in late to the pits. He's picked up another 10-second penalty for crossing the white line.
I think that's a slam dunk. That's just a mistake. They called him in very late. The thing with the black and orange flag is, as I said, there's no leeway.
Yeah.
Once you've seen it and you've got to cross the line once, you have to come in. Some you can argue, and you have 3 times passed before you come in. In some series, it's 5 times passed, actually. But incredibly, he's got 20 seconds in that car. Now, that might not make that much difference to him. He's lost the lead now. They'll be disappointed with that. But they've got a good couple of laps on the second development car. But Herbert are going to have 2 cars on the podium in GT3 Arm.
Indeed, Axel Jeffries has just got a 30-second penalty for speeding in pit lane. And that's into Africa Racing. They could lose a place if they're running 4th in Pro-Am at the moment, but outright they're only 44 seconds ahead of John Miller in the Uber Motorsport car. So that could be a change of position as well. Just getting back to your question, John, over the 20 years I've been attending this event, as I came to this region in 2005, I've seen the exponential growth. And what I've got to say is that Carracing read the motorsports world very, very well, right? They understand where people are buying vehicles and what type of vehicles. They make categories to suit many different vehicles. If you've got a car, they'll make a category for it.
Sure.
And I think that is where we're at now. I had a good discussion last night about Joe, about the growth of GT3 globally, of why it's still working. That Bentley release at 2018. It can run to 2028 or yeah, exactly. And if they didn't have their gear shift issues, they could have been a contender. So you know, it's a huge thing. But congratulations to the Dubai Autodrome. An absolutely fantastic effort. This garden, the Apex Garden, was phenomenal.
Yeah, and the amount of new fans that this has brought in. Dubai 92 were running ads. They did a live broadcast from here. We've got a new broadcast partner in the subcontinent with the Tamillive BC coverage for the Ajithkumar cars. He's just got out of the car that's taken the spirit of the race for his last stint. So he'll be chilling out and waving at the crowd. You'll hear them. You'll hear the cheers. Meantime, the second place car with Harry King is battling in traffic and trying to close down some of that gap to Max Hesser. Still, I think, 45 minutes to go. Yeah, that car is still going to have to make another pit stop. So second and third position overall is not yet locked in because Luke Hartog has made his last pit stop for Dynamic GT, and that white and blue number 24, when Harry King makes his pit stop, will become the best of the Porsches. It looks like the German marque domination of this event will continue unless something very weird happens, because the first non-German marque is the Dragon Racing Ferrari, is 13th position.
And they're quite a few laps down. 557, we've got 569.
Phil, thank you very much indeed. See you next weekend at Yas for the second part of the Middle Eastern Cup doubleheader.
Looking forward to it, my friend.
Stay around, please, Phil, because we'll have another chat with you as we're rounding up things for the podium. Peter Mackay experiencing the Dubai Autodrome and the Michelin 24 Hours for the first time, slots comfortably back into the right-hand seat. And he's just come across from the infield, which is busying up again. Clearly people coming back to the racetrack this Sunday morning. Sunday now a full weekend day, has been for a few years now. The holiday is still Friday, obviously, from 1:30 onwards in the afternoon. This is a business centre now, and somewhat pragmatically, a couple of years ago, the UAE decided that they needed to align with the rest of the world, while still being respectful, of course, of the religious implications of that. So Saturday and Sunday is now the race. If you remember, we used to be Friday and Saturday, and it's worked. More people are coming in. Your thoughts as we're well inside the last 3/4 of an hour from what you've seen overall and what you've seen just now down in the pit lane, because as I said, there are people coming back to the track.
Oh, it's been immense to see the support and to hear about the numbers of tickets that have been sold, and shows that the support is growing in this part of the world, and it has been for many years. It's been a real privilege to be part of the team for the 20th edition of the Dubai 24 Hours, and here's to another 20 editions. But my biggest takeaway so far, I have to say, is the car that's leading the race right now, the 777 Almanar Racing by Team WRT. It's a new pairing with Almanar and Team WRT. But the biggest thing is this is a new car. It's an evolution of the previous BMW M4 GT3. It's called the GT3 Evo, and it's quite rare actually for nowadays, particularly in a balanced performance formula, for absolutely brand new car to win. It's on its debut, let alone win in a 24-hour race. And I think
this is not just a cosmetic update.
No,
on this car.
No. It's got different differential. It's got new chassis components, new anti-roll bars, etc. Bigger rear brakes, and you never know with just tiny little changes they can change something that they didn't expect in testing. Look at the Ford Mustang at Daytona on its debut. They didn't expect what would happen when the car was hit from the rear, and it caused a problem with the bootlet. So what BMW have done, they've been working on this car almost since the first car came out. Correct. It's been 2 to 3 years of development on and off, and I'm sure the team it's been their baby for the last 2 or 3 years, and I'm sure it's been all that they've thought about on the development team, the engineers, and they've built out clearly a very strong car, which is right at a lot of little niggles, and it could be a car that's going to be a force in endurance racing for some time.
This, mean, that speaks to the level at which these racing cars are being designed, built, developed and raced now. And to particularly the reliability factor of GT3. You will look at these cars and say, it's a pumped up road car. Far from it now. Even GT4 is far from it. I think I heard you say at one stage last night when I was in the pits, it might be, let's say, that a GT4 car is still 80% road car, whereas a GT3 car is probably 80% race car. I think it's probably more than that in terms of the GT3. They are purposely designed and built. They resemble the road cars on which they are built. And there are some regulations.
Use the same base powertrain.
Yes, they have power. Yeah.
In fact, often what's the funny part is, and when I tell friends who don't follow racing, I say, the crazy thing is that often the race car has less power than the road car system.
Absolutely.
Ferrari's a perfect example of that, to the tune of about 200 horsepower less, so that it can fit into the balance of performance window. But Team WRT, they've done an amazing job.
The car stopped on the outside of turn 15, and it's the 102, the Cupra from Asbest Racing, and that car's not moving. It's got a broken right front steering arm on that car. Here's the drama. This is going to be a code 60. The steering is not pointing in the right direction for the 102. That's Lutz Obermann in second place. They want to get that car to the flag. Here's the code 60 coming. They'll still finish in second place. Who does this benefit? This is huge news for Pure Racing. They've got to get in. They can't take the 4-second penalty. 29 laps on Harry King's tyres, and also this could help Rick Breuters. Rick Breuters has just gone past. He must have taken his pit stop, so he's ahead now of Van Eindhoven. So that he's been out for 5 laps on the tyres, so he slipped in and out. What other class battles might this help? Well, both the GT3 and first and second. Darren Leung has just been in and gone out again, and Tara's out. Needs to come in. He's going to get a free stop here, which will close him up a little bit and might help him. It looks like GT3 AM now might have SRT on the podium. Renault needs his stop, and that helps Renault as well for Herbert in the 91 car.
Pure Racing coming into the pits, so they're deciding to take this opportunity for them. And Nick Damon is down there right now. Nick.
Yeah, they come in. They're going to change drivers. Just trying to see who is getting in the car, and it's Thomas, unsurprising, which is Friday. So I've been pushed by someone. I know what I'm doing. Honestly. The look he gave me. So anyway, this is the stop. Pure Racing goes Harry. The Indian say he's been short than Thomas Priney, and the service is just about to be done. Trying to be firmly pushed into position. Last by the 5-point high. He's got a car down the way. Go around and get 25% of fuel. Whether that's enough to get to the end, of course, it's questionable, but it'll be help. Of course, they have this penalty now, which they don't serve it during the race, so it'll be doubled.
That might be that'll be the easier way to serve it.
Yeah, well,
rather than come down the pit lane, just
absolutely
8 seconds put on. So yeah, a very, very interesting strategy there. And I don't think actually this is going to be the quickest code 60 necessarily, because this Asbest Cupra, it won't be able to be rolled onto a flatbed. It will probably have to be lifted because the wheels are sort of jammed at a jointy angle, sort of like 45-degree angle to the left as the driver looks at it. So yeah, the marshals are going to point at it going, this isn't going to maybe roll on. But they're going to try and get it onto the flatbed and almost drag it up. That might be the way to do it.
Last night when I was in the pit lane in the wee small hours coming to 4:30 in the morning, I mentioned the drivers coming in still using dark visors, and I after that stint, I checked some of our messages, and Jade Edwards, lovely Jade Edwards, who we've often had in the booth here at the Michelin 24H of Dubai, sent me a note, and I'm going to read this. Jade, I'm doing this because I love the way you compose this, and I can actually hear your voice as you say this. Jade, who's carved herself a really nice niche out in the ITV British Touring Car live coverage as well in the UK. She said, I noticed that you were talking about drivers' visors in the pit lane, theory behind dark visors, and also putting them down whilst in the pit lane. First of all, dark visor, and if you've ever heard Jade Edwards speak, this is Jade Edwards, absolutely. Hear it in her voice, not mine. Dark visor rule 101, they look much cooler than the clear visor.
In this discussion,
Yeah.
what's cooler though? A dark tinted or the kind of metallic?
Wow. Oh, yeah.
It's always going to be flipped up, but what I want to know about is, do you go for the cool guy half crack?
No, well, listen,
Or do you go for the Nick Katzberg upward crack?
No, this is what she says. She says it's much safer than a cut down visor, a full visor, if there's a fire. And because you can slam it all the way down, and wearing dark visor in the pit lane, and this is the clincher for me, and this is why we used to have Jade in the booth, and why she's such a great addition to the ITV touring car broadcast. From her experience, she says, the pit lane is floodlit and bright, the track isn't, so your visor down means it keeps your eyes adjusted to dark mode before you head out on the track, or as you immediately come into the pit lane, so that you don't lose your night vision, and all of a sudden, you know how it takes an onboard camera just a moment going into or coming out of the,
Almost like when you get up in the middle of the night to use the lavatory, and you don't want to, if you put the light on, get away with not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Jade, thank you for that, and she's sent us a couple of pictures as well, and I have to say that yours have been far kinder to Jade Edwards than they have to me from 7 years ago. Lots of love from us all here, Jade. Good luck for whatever you're doing in 2025. I do love your work in the booth, but as I've said every time you've been sitting next to me here, where PMAC is sitting at the moment, I'd far rather know that you were putting a race suit and a helmet on and getting behind the wheel of a race car. So keep us in touch. You have to have me on Midweek Motorsport soon, Jade. Good luck, and thanks for getting in touch.
But it will be really interesting to hear actually as well, because we're speaking to a few drivers who either are still racing or still competing and do TV stuff in between, and some who stop racing and then go into TV, and it's really interesting to understand their experience of it and what they find totally easy and what they find difficult is about the TV side. Is really interesting.
I had a good chat with Bob Bell about that actually. He did Le Mans last year for the stream, for the paid stream. Looks like once again, our track services and recovery here at Dubai Autodrome have absolutely knocked it out of the park. Just huge stand-up ovation, round of applause, no golf clap here. This is whoop whoop for all the volunteers here. Had a chat with a few of them over the last few days, because their restroom is on our route back and forth to the infield to use the facilities and get fed, etc. And as I said to one of the local gentlemen when we were having a chat in the lift, and he had a bit of a laugh about this, I said, look, I go to a lot of motor races and I have done down through the years, and quite honestly, there are some people at motor racing that I could absolutely do without being there. But anybody who is volunteering and marshalling and wearing yellow, orange or white, they do not fall into that category. Essential personnel, and fabulous to have a chat with some of the marshals here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, and indeed all of our volunteers.
As we're about to go back to green, at this code 60 lasted the grand total of 7 minutes. Imagine that, 7 minutes from the code 60 coming out to the flatbed truck getting onto it, getting that that's got damaged suspension onto the truck, and then into the pit lane and back to green again. 7 minutes.
And nobody has been disadvantaged, no one has got an advantage. All of the gaps have been preserved unless people chose to go into the pit lane and make a stop. And we're instantly back to racing. The leader was coming out at turn 11 when we went back to racing. So as soon as that vehicle was in the middle of the pit lane and safe, racing. Do not have to wait for wave-bys, pass-arounds, reshuffles, etc. Close the pits, open the pits. Actually, I think that's entirely a 100% worthwhile point you made there. Last half an hour, Peter.
It is. Into the last half an hour, it's amazing how 24-hour races go in, and it's been a superb performance from Almanar Racing by Team WRT. And I want to give a mention to one of the drivers who's at the wheel right now, Max Hesse, and indeed his colleague Dan Harper. These two young men have been developed by BMW. They're only 23 and 24 respectively. They're big mates, and big credit to BMW because they can easily go and pick a couple of single-seater superstars, but they've picked two drivers who have come from their national categories of racing. Max Hesse from TCR Germany when he was 18, he won the championship there. Dan Harper from Great Britain, he won that when he was 19. So they've backed some drivers that have come through national series, 10 top series, and developed them, trained them. In the case of Dan Harper, they put him in their prototype machine to give him an opportunity at that and to prepare him should they need him. And I think that commitment and that investment and that trust in these two young men is paying off in spades today.
We have got 43 cars on the track, one in the fuel area, and 62 that started, 19 in the pit lane, and I reckon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I reckon 18 of those 19 are not coming back out in terms of what's going on. So we have had attrition. Yes, there's been contact with the wall. There's been issues.
Two pretty catastrophic engine failures, both in GT4. Asbus Racing, who did cause that last code 60 in the pits now, Nick Damon has an update for us. Nick.
Yeah, it's a steering arm. It's connecting steering arm has come away. Now I don't think it's unscrewed or has broken. Trying to see the other end of it. It's just come. It's been pulled out actually. Interestingly, they have done a huge amount of work with these cars around this front suspension and the front gearbox and the drive shaft. So possibility, something didn't get not tightened enough, and it's just kind of undone itself rather than snapping or breaking. Effectively, they put a new steering arm in, and that thing will be good to go. There's absolutely no damage on it apart from that. So they get that out and off they'll go, and they'll have
the track for 9th and 10th, two different categories of cars, with Ian James in 4th in the for Heart of Racing by SPS, and Sergei Nikolay for Manamari Energy Porsche. 1.2 seconds between the 27 and the 1 in 9th position. An eye open for the multicoloured number 1 car. You can't really miss that one.
No, you can't. And what I thought was really cool, walking around the back of their pits, they've got a little tent, as many of the teams do, with all the, camp beds and air beds and stuff, and all of the bedding, and it looks exactly like that. They're all wild different colours, pinks and oranges and blues and all. So it's not just their car, it's even the team's sleeping quarters that are multicoloured like that, and they bring a big smile to everyone's face. Great to see Fabrizio Brocchi here. You mentioned that back injury. I remember that. Monza 2023, it was the same weekend as Le Mans that year, and Fabrizio came out of the final shooting onto the back straight, which is scary, and had a big accident. It's great to see him back. The team carried on though. They carried on with Fabrizio's blessing. They carried on and they did very well. For that team, they finished 3rd overall in the Sebring 24 Hours in a 991 Cup car. Yeah. So they're a great outfit. It's a shame that they've not got Cosimo Papi with them, who's a really unknown quantity to many, but he's a seriously quite young driver, and they've given them some good opportunities in that team. Unfortunately, couldn't make it this weekend, and they've got a pretty good replacement in Patrick Niederhauser. Herbert Motorsports interesting, 8th place at the moment, ahead of the Heart of Racing Mercedes by SPS. Herbert Motorsport made a very late change to the driver lineup. They added in Alfred Brunauer as a 5th driver, and that put them from the Pro class to the Pro-Am class. Guess which class they lead at the moment? The Pro-Am class.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
They're just a trophy factory.
They are. They've completely changed their strategy in terms of what happens in the Code 60 with the new regulations that came in last year. Pretty much as soon if a full course purple Code 60 came out under the old regulations, when you had 50% fuel allowance, if they'd been out 15 or 20 minutes and Code 60 came out, they were in the pits. Now they seldom come in under Code 60. I wouldn't say never. Just looking at the battles here for positions, Kevin Singh for Herbert Motorsport in second in GT3 in the number 80 Herbert Motorsport, just 17 seconds ahead of Alexander Berghanthov, lapping in similar times. That's fairly static in the moment. The gap at the front of the field between Max Hesser and Thomas Preining, two junior drivers for two German manufacturers in BMW leading and Porsche second. Thomas Preining, the Austrian, very well thought of.
Former shooter, right? Now the real deal.
Yeah, he's now a full factory driver. Stuttgart and Munich are separated by 219 kilometres down the E52 or the E8 in Germany, and not sure how many laps would that round that. Here that will be, it's 5.3 kilometres. It's considerably closer here, and it has been a battle between the two German manufacturers all the way through. There goes Hesse, 202, between a couple of cars, 202.359 across the line. And we wait now for Thomas Preining in that number 92 car. He's on the back straight, so he's nearly half a lap back at the moment. He's got around about in fact, exactly a minute and 11 seconds back on Luke Hartog. So the top three beginning to look slightly more settled. Where are the battles? Well, QMF by HRT in 992. They've pulled out a full lap now on Benji Pack for TFT Racing. I think QMMF can go to the end. Benji certainly can. They've got a 10-second penalty to take.
We're missing out Matthew Detry in the Ajithkumarracing car. He's 11 seconds behind them.
Yes, but he's
not in class. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. He's third in the 992 category.
What would be for QMMF? Another win, especially a major like this. But
that would effectively be back-to-back wins for them in major events, in major endurance events.
Yes, it would.
The 992 Endurance Cup, powered by Porsche Motorsport at Spa at the end of the season last year, the end of the European season, and then here in the Michelin 24H.
Barcelona. I could be wrong, but
they did. Because we were talking about that victory. Yes, they came because it was only 2 weekends down the road, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the point is valid. They're a force in the 992 class. I mean, one name that's been a stalwart in that 992 class is the Red Cal Jordans. Rick Broikers at the wheel. Right now, it's the Broikers family outing. Rick and his brother Luke and their father Ivo driving with Fabian Dance. They won this race last year. They started 11th overall last year. Such was the difference.
It was the high point of their season. It absolutely went down. I think that was a rented car last year.
Well, no, the car they won to buy it was their car, and then it took forever to get back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they sold that car, and they rented one from, I think, IMSA at Rouen. And they used that through part of the season, and they had all kinds of wars. This is a great way to get back to form. Nick Damon will only bring us good news from the pit lane in the last 21 minutes.
Absolutely, happy. The Atlas team, big round of applause. They replaced that steering arm, and away they have gone, and they are going to take out the last few laps, hopefully, and get to the end. It's interesting what Evo said. I'm not sure whether you were there with us when he was chatting, actually. He said that the Porsche went through that problematic car with the literal flying tooth comb and found the problem. There's obviously no evidence what that was. And they've sorted it, and Evo was very, very grateful to the Porsche people for actually taking the time to go through it properly rather than just going buy a new one. So it has been sorted out.
What a huge moment, sideways moment there for the multicoloured Porsche.
Sergio Nicolai pushing still right to the end. He's always full attack. Is Sergio, brilliant driver, and yeah, he got that one a little bit crossed up over the curb, but brilliant car control there to get on top of it.
Alexander Burkansov is just starting to close in on Kevin C from Herbert Motorsport in the battle for 6th overall, but more importantly 2nd and 3rd in the AM part of GT3. There are 16 seconds between them, but over a full second taken out last time. But from the Audi to the Porsche, now traffic will play a part in that. Alexander has much older tyres than Kevin, 35 lap old tyres, but they are in the same sector. 35 for Alexander, 5 lap tyres for Kevin C. I'm looking at any other big discrepancies. A 10 lap difference between Max Hesse and Almanar Racing by TWRT over Thomas Brining for Pure Racing. Advantage to the Porsche there, but they do have a 4-second penalty. Dynamic in 3rd, 12 laps there, they've got no penalties. 4th, Sergei Sirotkin for SMP, he's got 10 seconds of penalties. Second in Pro, Winwood Gabriel Piana has actually settled down into a pretty decent pace, 2-2-3, so that flappy front end is not slowing him down there, Peter.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't at all.
That's cost him the lead, having to come in to answer that black and orange flag, the mechanical black flag.
Stuck back together, yeah. Over the course of the history of the 24 Hours of Dubai, which started back in 2006, the first winner was a BMW. BMW have won it on 4 occasions. If Max Hesse can get through the next 18 minutes safely, they will tie Mercedes AMG on 5 wins, 1 short of Porsche, who are on 6 wins. WRT will come within 1 of the most successful team in the history of this race, which is Black Falcon, the racing team now. 5 wins for them. WRT will get their 4th win in fairly quick succession.
Well, I was going to say, with
3 in the last 4.
No disrespect to any of the teams who were doing this in the early years, but the breadth and depth of competition in the years that WRT have been here has been stellar, and it just gets harder and harder to win. I'll remind you, there are just over 15 kilometres between 1st and 4th position, just on 13 kilometres between 1st and 4th position. And again, no intervention by the safety car here. We are talking tenths of seconds here and there across a 24-hour period and 580 laps. If you break that down in terms of how many seconds there are between 1st and 3rd, or 1st even and 4th position, you're talking about just over 6 minutes of racing over 24 hours. It's incredible. Over 580 laps. We're being projected by the computer to get somewhere just under 590 laps. The records set back in 2012 was 628. But with as many code 60s as we have had, that was always going to be difficult.
The enthusiasm for the number 901 car every single time it passes the pits. This is the Ajithkumarracing car. All of the Ajithkumar fans who are filling the entire grandstand go absolutely crazy for that 901 car. And their hero's not even driving it. It's just the car that he owns. Ajithkumar has been driving in the 414. I don't think he's not aboard it at the moment. But the support, I've not seen anything quite like it.
Got out just before you sat down.
It is Paul Newman, Patrick Dempsey-esque, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Brad Pitt actually did motor racing and didn't just film it. He's actually a decent driver. Joe and I know someone who did quite a lot of his driver training and mentoring, which took place at Rocky Motor Speedway. Quite a lot of that actually last year. I'm keeping an eye on this time between Herbert and Kevin C in 6th overall, 2nd in the GT3R, and the Hazard Audi of Alexander Burkanthov. It's down to 14 seconds, and this is now it's getting pretty close to a second alarm. Whether or not traffic is there, I don't think there's enough time in the race for the Barbuda-based team to pull that back and move up another position on the podium. The podiums, by the way, for those of you here in the track, are going to be in the Apex Garden on the big stage. So gravitate over there for the formalities, which will come up just after 1 o'clock.
The trophy's already there, and there's already dancers, and so Nick Damon's going to fit in perfectly there.
Oh, great lap by Kevin Say, under pressure. He must have had the call on the phone. He's pulled it back up to 16 seconds. Only 8 laps on his tyres, 38 laps on Alexander Bukatov. Might be making a little bit of a difference. The gap between second and third coming down as well. Oh, very slow lap last time around from Briley. 2:07.4 and 2 minutes 0.5. Now, where was that time lost?
The last few, second one, the last few laps, Prining's been certainly a couple seconds off where you'd expect them. I think they might be in get it home mode now. Remember, they did show the front end of that car in the wheel arches a lot of attention. They did line it back off. They lost a minute looking at that. That could potentially have lost them the race.
1:35 now between first and second.
So that minute they lost in the pits has been hugely costly. So it might just be in a case of 2:09.7 last time by. So yeah,
this is not right.
No, there's coasting home and then there's that. So this is just limping home for Prining. So
3 seconds, 4 seconds lost in the first sector, another 3 seconds in the second sector, and it's going to be another 2 or 3 seconds in the third. Luke Hartog is getting the hurry up here on tyres that are only 14 laps on the car, and 40 laps old in fact, because the RFID chips from Michelin gives us that. He crossed the line any second now. What's he been able to do? Another 2 minutes, down 46 seconds here.
Yeah, at that rate,
he's going to catch him. Yeah. Now, getting past him is something different. Incredible stuff here for second. Now, Nick Damon, I said he could only give us good news. One of the stories of the race that was followed was in GTX earlier on with brand new manufacturing coming into international endurance racing.
797, the Graph Racing was at GT with its mystery V10, possibly a mystery, possibly not. That has rejoined the race to finish. It started relatively well, ran I think about 5 hours, then it came into major problems with that mystery engine oil pressure. They replaced it, they did a few more laps in and out, mostly under Rushinov's guide. It is now just it's been given a real good treatment. It's absolutely fresh and lazy. It went past me in the pit lane, and they're obviously going to take the last 10 minutes or so to get the car to the finish.
Nick has graduated to that car because when he's not wearing his glasses, it looks even more like a Maserati MC.
They fully openly admitted that is Roman Rusinov's favourite car.
That was the inspiration.
And that was the inspiration for it. And many cars take inspiration. Yeah, there's something really wrong with the 92. We'll hopefully try and get Nick Damon down to the Pure Racing garage and find out what's going on. Because
out it's a long way down.
5 seconds a sector where it's going wrong.
And it's getting worse. It was a 2:07, then it's a 2:09, and then it's a 2:11. I can't believe that they are in fuel strife, but I might be wrong. And they've got a 4-second penalty. Now that will double at the end of the race. Anything more than 2 seconds at the end of the race, and Phil Hansen, it was memorised every single word, comma and semicolon of the sporting regulations. He's nodding wisely, sagely to my right. So I'm confident in saying that will be 8 seconds. So that 36-second gap isn't 36, it's only 28. And what that means is, he doesn't have to pass him on the track. He's only going to get within 8 seconds. And I think he's going to do that quite easily.
5 seconds per sector. Someone like Thomas Prining's professionalism is just going to wave Hartog by. You're not going to, you can't keep buying without doing something really dangerous or stupid. So that will be, if that continues at that rate, that will mean that Pure Racing will lose second position. They may even lose the podium because SMP Racing are not far behind. It depends how serious this problem is.
No,
I know they're right now.
Further back. If they keep lapping, no. But if they have to come to the
pits.
Oh yes,
possibly.
yeah. If they have to come up the pits, you're right. It's gone. There's another battle for an overall position and a class position. 15th and 16th from the Haupt Racing team, and Hubert Haupt finishing off the number 4 car. He started as well, and he's just put in a cracking lap to pull away from Robert Mao in the Haupt Motorsport car. That was under 3 seconds just a couple of laps ago. It's now 6.1 seconds, so that's fine. Rick Breukers lapping very quickly indeed, 203.6, 203.7 for Huub van Eindhoven. That's been a great battle as well in the 992 Porsche class between Red Camel, Tierra Outdoor Racing, Ajithkumarracing car as well. That'll be third. QMMF, I'm telling you, they're going to win that. They are going to win that. That is huge, absolutely huge. More headlines for the Qatari Motorcycle and Motorsport Federation, with the number that reflects the dialing code of Qatar, 974.
On that point, on the drivers at the very front of the 992 class, you've got Rick Breukers, you've got Huub van Eindhoven, you've got Dutch drivers. For whatever reason, Dutch drivers have always been fantastic in Porsche Cup cars. Jeroen Bleekemolen was a Super Cup champion. Luke Hartog, who's up in third in a GT3R, he's had a lot of success in Porsche Cup. And of course, Larry ten Voorde, who may be one of the best Porsche Cup car drivers ever.
Under 10 minutes, in fact under 9 minutes to go, Nick Damon has made the long trek down to Pure Racing. A slightly better lap last time around, a 2:10 flat for Thomas Preining, but Luke Hartog still took 9 seconds out of him, and it's now 28 seconds on the road, net 20 seconds. What are the teams saying? Are they biting their fingernails and looking worried?
No, they're looking a bit resigned, because I talked to a couple of people who just didn't want to talk, and finally someone told me what was going on or what they were prepared to admit, but it sounds likely they're on massive fuel save. Yeah, I think don't forget they've only had code 60 refills, you know, and I think they've probably worked out a pace where they think they can get to the end and retain third place. Whether they do a massive fuel save now to have enough to really push for the last 5 minutes and therefore hold off that pass. Of course,
Correct.
the pass doesn't need to take place.
Yeah.
Getting within 8 seconds. I don't know, but they were looking. I think it is that. I do think it's true. I don't believe it's brakes. I think the way in which Thomas is able to slow down an equal amount in each sector and keep it consistent doesn't sound like a mechanical problem, but it does sound like a man managing.
Nick, you and I
the
both know we've spent enough time at motor racing tracks, and Joe Bradley's sitting behind me now, and I'll look at his face when I say this. You don't start fuel saving halfway through your stint. You've got to set that up right at the beginning, because right now this is desperation.
Thomas Preining has just gone past us, and sorry Nick, he's just gone past us, and he's short shifting massively.
Yeah, the other thing is, what happens if suddenly they found this race is going to run one lap longer
that's
than
a
they
problem
thought?
too. An extra 5 kilometres, 3 miles. Yeah, Carl, this might do maybe
5.3 kilometres,
miles a gallon. So yeah, that does make a difference. Thomas Preining, this will be the longest 7 minutes of his career, I would think.
Nick?
Yeah, so when your last fill had to be a code 60-25%, we probably only wanted 35%. And you were thinking there were X number of laps, we can just about make it. Then you said, we made a mistake. There's one extra lap.
I agree with that.
Or that pesky BMW's gone too quick, and you've got to try and save it.
Going across the circuit, I thought somebody been off.
Preining has picked up the pace. He was a 2:05 last time by.
Right, so he's picked back up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, he's only a 1/10 of a second off of the race leader in Sector 1. So I wonder if they've maybe hit their target number now, and they're going, okay, we're all right again.
It's gone down to 25 seconds.
And the leader's about to go past him. So that will help. Means he has to do one less lap.
Yeah, one fewer laps, that's right. And he can probably sit in behind and save a bit of fuel in the draft as well. They're up at turn 12 at the moment, and the chasing car, the number 24, is just rounding turn 10. Luke Hartog, Porsche Carrera Cup America champion, absolutely giving his all, and he's got to leave nothing performance-wise in those Michelin tyres, which are only 18 laps old. He's laying big number 11s down out of turn 11. Nick's just made a really good point there, Peter, in that Thomas Preining, now having been lapped again by, or having been lapped, excuse me, for the first time, that is one fewer 5.3 kilometre laps he's got.
And that's what the target is going for, because he's just done a 203.1, which is much closer to the pace you'd expect.
Okay.
So that's clever from Pure Racing, and that should allow them, you'd hope, although Luke Hartog was 2 seconds faster last time by. Luke Hartog 2 seconds faster last time by, so it's not done yet. Yes, they've managed to stay on that lap, but it's not done yet. 23 seconds is the gap.
Let's look at some of the class leaders. AGMC, BMW, Dubairacing in the Puce front end BMW with the very bright purple coloured LEDs. 37th position, but in a small but pretty competitive GT4 class. At the moment, there are 6 laps after 24 hours ahead of SRS Team Zog Rennsport's Porsche number 427. And in third place, excuse me, is the Toyota, the Continental TTR Racing, Dimitri Leva behind the wheel of that car. And good to see that car, which it's been in and around some issues, but I haven't seen it spend a lot of time in the pit lane. So I think that's the first time we've seen the Toyota here.
I think, though, hugely honourable mention to the Ginetta team, the CMR Ginetta team. We're running so strongly, no mistakes, just fuel and tyres, and they were leading by a good margin in GT4, and they had a sudden and pretty catastrophic engine fire, which took them out of the race instantly.
For the Freddie Tomlinson car, yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a shame for that crew. They were going so strongly. Freddie, his father Lawrence, Mike Simpson, the head of motorsport at Ginetta, and also Nico Prost. They deserved a victory, but sometimes motorsport can be utterly cruel.
Inside the last 4 minutes. So probably, and where's our leader? Coming across the line right now, in fact, to complete lap number 587. It'll be 2 to go. It'll be 590, I reckon.
2 to go. Yeah. Well, 10 kilometres for Max Hesse to put first ever Dubai 24-hour win on the CV. Likewise for his teammate Dan Harper, and of course Darren Leung, who's been a very busy man. He might be about to pick up 2 winners' trophies, because he's going to take the Paradine competition car home in GT3 Am in the lead if he gets through the next 2 laps.
Just been signed to the WEC McLaren team with United.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So it'll be the first big overall 24-hour race victory, both for Max Hesse and Dan Harper. They've won in class at the N24 before. For Ben Tuck, this is a big thing. This is a big step up for him. He started off in BRSEC MX5s, and here he is winning a major 24-hour race. Al Faisal Al Zubair, the 26-year-old from Oman, big result for him.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
Late position change in the overall sees Manamari Energy's Porsche and Sergei Nicolau go through into 10th position ahead of Gabriele Piana, who's been struggling with a little bit of handling. 2:02 though last time around, his best lap for a little while. 992 is now over a minute between QMMF and TFT Racing. What a run for Asbest Racing as well. Never say die attitude in TCE.
If you know, Almanna Racing have now put the Pure Racing Porsche a lap down, so that means that they can follow in the wheel tracks home. The Pure Racing they'll be disappointed tonight for sure. They blitzed qualifying. They were on pole by half a second. All of the Porsches were hit with a 20-kilogram adjustment addition. Yep, onto the last lap we go. I think Pure Racing will be disappointed. They've fought very hard, but it's coming up ever so slightly short.
It will be 589 laps of the 5.3, just of a 3-mile circuit here at Dubai Autodrome, in a race that's had a bit of everything. Started off at breakneck pace with side-by-side action. Pure Racing eventually halfway through the lap having to give best to Winward Racing. Winward are looking at a second place in the Pro-Am, 11th overall, but I get the feeling that Russell Ward and the rest of the team, as well as Gabriele Piana and the driving squad there were hoping for a little better from that. They're 9 laps off the lead at the end. This has been a cracking debut from WRT with those 2 new Evo BMWs. Almanar Racing by Team WRT will take the top step of the overall podium and Paradigm Competition. The number 991 car, trying to fool us into thinking it was a Porsche, will come through in a very creditable 6th overall. We've got somebody moving very slowly in the middle section of the circuit. I suspect that's just walking wounded at the moment, and hope it's not anyone of great substance. Might be waiting for the leader to come by. This is going to be a bit closer than Thomas Preining needs to make this. It's only 16 seconds as he goes on to his last lap now between himself and Luke Hartog.
He's at the final corner, as is the leader.
Well, that's good news then. Peter Mackay, new car, great victory, same result for WRT.
Same result, yeah, a 4th win ever for Team WRT here at the Dubai 24 Hours. And for BMW, their brand new machine, the M4 GT3 Evo, wins on international debut, and it's a first major 24-hour race overall victory for Dan Harper, for Max Hesse, for Ben Tuck, for Faisal Al-Zubair, and indeed for Darren Leung.
And with the winning drivers, Dan Harper, congratulations, your first major 24-hour win.
Yes, finally. It's been a long time coming, it feels like, but I've finally ticked the box here in Dubai. Of course, there's many more I want to do, so yeah, first race of 2025. Yeah, I can't thank all my teammates, especially Faisal, his debut with us in BMW Motorsport, and victory. My first 24-hour with WRT. So yeah, amazing, can't believe it.
And of course a debut for the new car as well. I mean, it's not bad out of the box, is it?
No, it's not a bad debut for our Evo, and I think we've made all the progress that we wanted, and yeah, now we can celebrate.
Faisal, congratulations, a win for you and Omar.
Yeah, honestly, super happy, an amazing way to start the BM journey, and we always thought WRT had the advantage here, and I guess their record is for a reason. So yeah, just over the moon, honestly. I've tried to win this race so many times now, and finally.
You just need a brand new car run by WRT.
Exactly, that's the answer.
Thanks very much, Ben. Congratulations to you as well. It's been a fantastic performance by the entire team and a great debut for you here in Dubai.
Yeah, so that was my first Dubai 24. First time back in a BMW for a number of years as well. So it's got, you know, race of many firsts, and wait to top it off with a win.
I expect you want to get back in a BMW very soon.
It's not too bad to drive when you do it properly. I had a couple of dodgy stints in the night, and you know, adapting the driving style, because I drive quite a few different cars now. I'm very privileged in that position, but yeah, once you get used to the BMW, it's a great car.
Great, so thanks, Ben. And that is 3 of the 5 drivers. The other 2, Max Hesse and Darren Leung, will be annoyed by me in the
thank you, Nick.
Ferme.
Confirming then the top 3, Almanar Racing by Team WRT BMW, win by just over a lap in the end, as Thomas Preining did exactly what he needed to do, saving fuel towards the end. With the 8-second penalty that will be added, he is second place by 6 seconds, nearly 7 seconds, 6.5 seconds actually, from Dynamic GT, the number 24, the white, and Dubai Skyline, light blue Porsche. Johnny Palmer alongside me now, looking back on that. At the sharp end of the field, it was the 2 BMWs and the 2 Porsches for the longest time, and really any 3 of those 4 you would have picked for it, but in the end, with a slight fading of the Herbert car, it's SMP who come home in 4th place with their number 7 AMG car, who ran a pretty good race actually, albeit 3 laps off the lead. Quiet race for SMP, silent but almost deadly.
Yeah, I was concerned for Mercedes fans at about half distance because they were struggling to get any of their cars in the top 10. So SMP Racing with some great consistency on the back 9, if you can have such a thing in a 24-hour race. They did
12, yeah.
Yeah, precisely. Their second half far better than the first half. That might have been them just getting used to the car, although, you know, with the German backing for that outfit, the crew looking after the AMG knows it from back to front. The driver's possibly less experienced behind the wheel of an AMG. The BMWs became split in the end. Paradigm Competition looked like they might be on course for a podium. Great result in AM.
They put up,
If one AM, that was the priority, but they were toying with those top 3 positions for the main podium. But as so often happens with the driver makeup within this, it did drop away towards the end, but they won AM by a clear lap, by 2 laps in fact.
Herbert Motorsport second in AM, and Audi with Haas RT third in AM. It seems odd to say that Herbert Motorsport with the second in AM, a win and in Pro-Am, and a 5th in AM, they might actually be a bit disappointed with that, because the better of the cars, the Renault 91 car, the 2 Renaults in that car, was bothering the front of the field until quite late on.
Yeah, and yeah, it's again a crew that know this race back to front, and they've adjusted to the new rules, the new Code 60 rules, because that's the fact that you can only put in a certain amount of fuel with every caution stop goes against the Herbert methodology of trying to pit at every opportunity. So they've had to relearn that. However, great result in AM, and yeah, maybe a little bit of disappointment for the 5th place finishing car within AM, the 269 of Vincent Cole. But the other 2, the 80 and the 91, were in lockstep for many hours.
Totally agreed. Best non-German car, the couple of Ferraris in 13th and 14th from Dragon, and Into Africa Racing by Dragon. Those 2 cars just a minute apart in 3rd and 4th in the Pro-Am, so they'll get a local team will get the podium. 992 Cup class, fantastic. Let's go down to Nick Damon actually, because he's mingling.
Yeah, I'm mingling with the Indian superstar, but also with the German superstar. Max Hess, congratulations, you've got the car home, you've won the Dubai 24 hours.
Yeah, super stoked. It's quite loud here, not for us, but...
oh, it's for you.
No, it's a mega win. Really big thank you to the team at BMW, because, yeah, in the end, we didn't really won on pace, but we won on strategy and well execution, so really super stoked on the team that did it.
Look pretty quick.
Yeah, not the quickest, but we were quick enough.
Now, the important question now is you and your teammates, who's going on the camel?
We said Darren.
He's also won in the other car, his class, so he would also get a camel ride in that one, so, you know.
Yeah, there are 3 other drivers to find out.
You're not keen on camels, then?
No, I'm not.
Max, congratulations, brilliant.
The cheers in the background are for Nick Damon in the pit lane, and he's in the performance.
Absolutely, yeah. It's all about me, you know. Let's see if I can grab a word with our second place finishers, just over there taking a group photograph.
I hope you can hear this on the FX wherever you are around the world. This is not, as they do in F1, this is not canned. This is not being played in as an effect. This is genuine cheering for Ajithkumar and his racing exploits. Nick Damon continues in Parc Ferme.
Wow, that was at the end. We hear that you didn't have quite enough fuel, so you had to ease back. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I had to save many kilos of fuel throughout the last stint. It was very tricky, and then obviously we also had to lose the lap. So we have to do 1 lap less. It all worked out, luckily. It was very fine margins to work with, and very tricky handling all the traffic that way, but we made it, so it's all good.
Was it really a case that once the sun came up, the Porsche just went slower than the BMWs?
No, I mean, we lost the race when we had the contact in the night. I think like 5 a.m. they woke me up and said we lost 3 laps. So this is definitely where we lost it. I think we had everything to get the win, but in the end you need to do a good job as well, and we just, yeah, we didn't.
But a great team effort overall, though.
Yeah.
Great result. That gets the second place from the team. Let's see if we can... There's people who are sneaking out of here, some of the winners as well. Of course, there's a large amount of camel action we're going to see. Oh, there's Darren Young. Let's have a quick word with the winner of AM. Darren? congratulations. You're going to be first on 2 different podiums. I hope you got enough hand luggage to take those trophies home.
Yeah, if not, I'll buy more. Sorry, my voice is completely gone.
What, were you shouting on the radio with joy?
No, my voice started going yesterday. I wasn't very well, so yeah, it's been a real battle to get to the end.
So how many hours in total did you do across the 2 cars?
It's more than 10. I don't know, somewhere there.
Did you enjoy every minute, or was it a chore towards the end?
No, yeah, it was hard. It was hard work. But hopefully this is where the training pays off for later in the year.
And of course you got a big reward with the podiums later.
Yeah, double win, so yeah, happy days.
Great stuff, thanks, Darren. I was trying to edge you away from there because I didn't want to get ill. But
last time we saw a driver on 2 steps of the podium was I think the first year we were here in 2012 when Bert.
Oh, no, he's on 2 separate podiums.
He's first on 2 podiums, whereas we had Bernd Schneider second and third on a podium for that. Just while Nick lines up another interview, just to underline the difference in strategy from Herbert. The best finishing Herbert car was the number 80, which is second in AM, whilst everybody around it had done more than 30 and as many as 36 pit stops. Now remember, that doesn't necessarily mean problems. They did 25, Johnny. So not always taking the opportunity to come down the pit lane to take 25% of fuel. That's the best finishing Herbert car. Nick, go ahead.
I'm with Herbert, the GT3 Pro-Am winners. They're all pointing at somebody else to talk to me, which I find very offensive. So I'm going to talk to Kai van Berlo. Kai, you're the unlucky one who got the a great performance by the team. I suppose winning the class is really all you could hope for, but did you just hope to finish a little bit further higher up overall?
Yeah, we wish we were a little bit further higher up, but you always hope for a better result, right? Ultimately, you know, we finished first in Pro-Am, which was a bit unexpected in the end. The Mercedes was looking pretty strong and had a pretty big advantage. Things fell our way in the final couple of hours, and it worked out. So super happy, thanks to the Herbert Motorsport guys and all the guys in the team that have done a tremendous job.
Yes, you've joined the Herbert family, Herbert team. What's it like joining the brothers and Ralph?
It's awesome. I did with them a race a few years ago, also a 24-hour race, and now doing it again with Jake, whom I've been working with this year in America, bringing the team together, Jake's first 24 hours, being back with Herbert. We've been super experienced in this series, winning the championship last year, so no better crew to do this race with, no more experienced team out here to race Porsches with.
That's Jake Pedersen. Jake, we'll have a quick word with you, the new boy in the team under Kai's wing, I hear.
Yes, yeah, Kai helped me out a lot this year. He's taught me a lot about how it all works. What's that?
He was talking to the director.
Okay, I thought he was talking to me. Anyway, yeah, so I'm pretty fresh to the game, honestly, but yeah, this year Kai's helped me out a lot with just understanding the way I approach things and, you know, obviously his experience and everything. So, yeah, it's come together really well, and obviously, you know, this is a great way to start off the year. But yeah, that's...
And what's your program for the rest of the year?
As of right now, it's to be decided. I just got engaged, so I'm trying.
That's quite a difficult program.
Yeah, that's a whole program itself. So I'm trying to decide right now, but yeah, that's my focus, I guess.
Thank you. So Jake's program now is going. No, we can't. No, not how much?
That's a whole.
Now we have our 992
different set of
hurdles.
But yes, what I was going to say there is performance anxieties of a different type. Yeah, 992, great victory and a fabulous battle throughout the whole race from Tierra and Red Camel Jordan.nl.
And it went to Red Camels at the end. Rick, were the points of that race where you didn't think you were going to win?
I mean, it was a tough race, and especially in the morning, we made a few mistakes with strategy, so we had to fight back a little bit.
Do I need to have a word with Paul about that?
Sorry?
Do I need to have a word with Paul about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just a combination of bad luck and maybe the wrong choice, but it's just really small losses, and in a field as competitive as this, you immediately lose a few places. So I'm really happy that on the end everything went well and we were able to fight back to P1.
It must be great to have a super reliable 24 hours in this car after all the problems you had at the back end of last season.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really positive that finally we can finish a race. I mean, the Porsche is always a reliable car. Last year we had some bad luck, but this year it looks like it's going to be our year.
Great stuff. John, I'm going to talk to somebody who didn't drive, but is definitely a winner, and that's Gary Williams. Gary, wow, this is an unbelievable addition to the race, isn't it?
This is amazing. We had never so many crowd, and if you look at the competition, it's a wonderful race weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's with many thousands of fans, both of motor racing but also of Ajithkumar. I mean, you must be wanting to book him for every single race now.
Sorry again?
You must be wanting to book Ajit for every single race.
Yeah, yes, but he's planning to do Europe, so it's wonderful. It's nice to see. It's nice that the people, so many that enjoy. Normally Germany is a motorsport-minded country, but now we can send India as a motorsport-minded nation, so wonderful.
And of course, a fantastic turnout for next week's race in Abu Dhabi as well.
Yeah, this is a good start for the season with our flagship, and now we're heading already to Jasmine. But first, we're going to enjoy it this night.
Yes, I have to enjoy the podium, which is about, I think, by the looks of it, about a mile away in about 3 hours.
Yes, okay, we're going to the apex corner for the podium. Thank you.
Gary Williams from Creventic.
Yeah, thanks to Gary, thanks to all the team that have been involved with Creventic again this year to now get up to the 20th edition of the 24 Hours of Dubai, and this has got to be up there with one of the best, surely. The entry looks superb on paper, and there have been so many tales to tell. One of the big highlights, and it was great to pick up with Rick Breukers, was that 992 battle, because the 909 certainly will feel they've been in a thoroughly close race with the 912 Tierra Outdoor Racing that led many laps. Zoot van Eindhoven put behind the wheel of that car to bring it to the flag, and Mathieu Detry with his level best in the 901, and the Ajithkumarracing crew, which have so many extra fans here this weekend. So a chance now that we've spoken to some of the key finishers to look at the entire still provisional result. That will become official a little bit later on, but now with everyone across the line and heading for either the first, second and third place boards under the podium or Parc Fermé proper, it's a win for Almanar Racing by Team WRT, making it the 4th victory for the Belgian squad WRT here at the Dubai 24 Hours. They had a couple in a row, 2022, 2023, then did not win last year, but this year makes it 3 out of 4 for a big race. So a dominant period for the Belgian outfit, and congratulations to their driver lineup, many of which we've actually heard from after stellar work from Nick Damon. The second place car, Pure Racing, really what did for them was losing about 3 minutes overnight after some contact. So the 92 car, which was there or thereabouts, finishing in second ahead of Dynamic GT, which led many laps but ends up third on the podium. Then the SMP Racing crew with their Mercedes, the best placed of the 3-pointed star cars, of which there were many in the entry. 991, a very ill-sounding Darren Leung for Paradigm Competition. He was in 2 cars, remember, and completed the race in the 991 car to take it to 5th position, but most crucially to the AM victory ahead of the Herbert Motorsport Porsche number 80. Another Herbert car winning in the Pro-Am division, number 91, Alfred Renauer finishing things off there. Then the best of the Audi R8 LMSs from Haas RT, 8th. Heart of Racing by SPS with another Mercedes in the number 27, and then Manamari Energy with Sergei Nikolai bringing the multicoloured number 1 car home in 10th place. Outside of the top 10, 11th position for Gabriele Piana. They had a really up and down race for Winward Racing, cracking open a couple of stints from the Italian, which meant that that car actually led in the initial stages, but finishes outside of the top 10 ahead of a third Herbert Motorsport Porsche number 269, 12th. Then the first of a couple of Dragon Racing Ferraris. They were 13th and 14th, 88 ahead of the 8 car, the Into Africa Racing by Dragon Car. Haupt Racing Team, Hubert Haupt, one of the most winning drivers here at this event, but 15th position for the number 4 car, an outgoing driver, focusing far more on team management from this point on. Robert Mao in the Huber Motorsport Porsche finished in 16th place in the number 20, ahead of Yuki Hokavuri in the Proton Huber competition car number 969. Then it was the 77 EBM Aston Martin, 19th position for the 19 car MP Motorsports Mercedes, and Rick Breukers just breaking into the top 20 with the Breukers family car, and Fabian Dance winning the 992 division. Then There's a lot more 992s to come on page 3. Let's mention Kobe Powell's first of all in the Come to You Racing Aston Martin in 40 car rather in 21st spot. Then come the second all the way down to what, 9th place in 992. So these are all Porsche Carrera Cup cars. Tierra Outdoor Racing in those podium spots so often and flipping positions with 909 and the 901, but it's 912 in second, 901 the Ajithkumarracing car finishing third, ahead of QMF by HRT, who take the AM victory, 974. Ben Pack second in AM and the 911 car along with the rest of his crew. GP Racing Team and the 938 finish in 6th position and 4th in 992, ahead of the third and final podium finisher in the 992 AMs, which was the Rabdan by Fulgenzi 971 offering. Couple more 992 Porsche Cup cars for Dual Racing by Huber, the Mutran family outing, and welcoming back Phil Keane to that crew together with Theo Overhaus. HRT Performance Porsche finishing 29th, and then another GT3 AM car, which was the Mercedes from GWR Australia. Two more 992s, 31st and 32nd, HRT and Fulgenzi Racing. The only leader in GTX pretty much for the whole race. They established a decent lead in the Lippert Motorsport Lamborghini and never really looked back. So a dominant display for the 710 car. 989, despite its difficulty with the front left tyre, it stopped rotating after a brake disc exploded on the 7x7 racing crew, but that finished 12th in the 992s ahead of the HRT Performance car. So that's 35th. Then Mühlner Motorsports Porsche got to the finish. The winner in GT4 was the BMW M4 of AGMC Racing by Simpson Motorsport, car number 438. Scuderia Praha returning to the championship after a long spell away, and a brand new Ferrari 296 for them after so much success in the previous 488. 39th position, the 427 car, second in GT4, and the first of a couple of Seb Lajou Racing Porsches in the pits. So I'm not sure whether that actually completed the distance, but nevertheless 40th position is its reward. You don't have to complete every single lap, remember, in this championship. Third in GT4 was the Continental TTR Racing Toyota GR Supra, 41st. Treble One Racing finished second in GTX for the IRC GT. Car Collection Motorsports Porsche 43rd, ahead of Era Motorsports Ferrari and the Optimum Motorsport McLaren, which sat out many hours after a full gearbox change was required. The Speed Lover Porsche was 46th of Belgium. Asbest Racing take victory in the TCE class, 47th overall, ahead of the Razzoon Northern Racing Porsche, the Continental Racing Audi, and the second of the Razzoon cars, which was the 718 Cayman in the GT4 division. So that's the 50 places, and there were more cars beyond that. We got north of 60 for the race start, although a couple that were on the entry list sadly didn't actually get going at 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Vortex V8 51st, ahead of Hoffer and the second TCE car, which was another Asbest Racing Leon. Seb Lajou Racing's second car had real troubles, and the Treble 8 54th, ahead of the two Team CMR entries, both Ginetta G56s. 57th for the SRS Team Zorg Rennsport Porsche, the WS Racing BMW 58th. Team Parker Racing's Bentley Continental was a retirement, as was the 797 Rossa LMGT. And the cars outside of the top 60, these were the very early retirements. Team Motor Parks Mercedes retiring in the second hour and creating the second Code 60. JBR with a big off in the 990 Japanese Porsche. Come to You Racing and Tresor Attempto Racing. Neither of those cars were able to start this year's 20th edition of the Dubai 24 Hours. Every moment of it brought to you right here on the Radio Show Limited Network. So, Joe Bradley, the moment that perhaps everyone has been waiting for now, with the Camels being invited back to be part of the championship. This was a crazy concept when it was first brought into being probably 15 or so years ago, but it's a mainstay now of the Dubai 24-hour podium.
Would it be a Dubai 24 Hours if it didn't finish with a parade of camels with our winning drivers?
I don't think it would these days.
Phil Hansen, who is a resident in Dubai and has been for the last 20 years, when asked the question, how much would it cost me for a camel, couldn't answer it. I need to ask the man connected to the camels, aren't we? What I want to see is not just the winning drivers up there. I want to see our own Nick Damon carried to the podium process and on a camel. However, I don't think we'd get him up there. New process and protocols for the podium presentations here this year. We are going to be doing it in the Apex Gardens, which is across in the infield. So the camel parade usually finishes underneath the podium that is on the pit lane. However, the camel parade is going to continue underneath the podium, out onto the infield and across to the Apex Gardens, where there's a beautifully staged area, an atmosphere that has been created by all the Ajithkumarracing fans. It's been unbelievable. I can only compare it to a football crowd with their cheering. Lovely, lovely crowd, lovely atmosphere, and the camels now underneath the podium with some great shots of our winning drivers. Bet they didn't think this one was going to come, but yes, what an atmosphere that has been created by the Indian fans of Ajithkumarracing, who has been a competitor, not just one car, but to start the week off in two, finished the 414, the Razzoon ran Porsche Cayman. That was the recipient of our Spirit of the